Good morning, everybody. Welcome on in. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me, and we're all good to go. My cat's making me nervous. I got coffee sitting up here, and she's like prowling. I better move it because I could just see a disaster coming. Okay. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. I have some things going on and whatnot. Here, welcome on in. We'll see if our other mods get in here in a little bit. Good deal. I was about to say, how was y'all's weekend? But it's Thursday, girl. It's Thursday. I had to check y'all know me. I don't never know what day it is half the time. It is Thursday. So we're almost done with another week. Uh, it is day 47. Day 47 since Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home. And everybody wants to continue. It took 47 days to catch Koberger. Well, it took 47 days to complete investigative genealogy and come up with the name Koberger. So we got to remember that. They didn't get lucky and find a bunch of evidence that pointed to the guy, right? It only came out of IGG. So, they might have got there eventually once they realized WSU did have that car and da 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 da, but it was all thanks to IGG. We don't have that option here that we know of. We haven't heard from the DNA lab. We haven't heard from experts in the field anything about this weird mixture of DNA the sheriff claims he has. That's all we got to bank on. We don't know how involved that mixture was. I know for a fact they can separate the mixtures. I deep dove the hell out of all of this in the Idaho 4 case. They separated Maddie, Kaylee's, and the males, right? But there wasn't enough on the male profile to even say it was Koberger. But it was a male profile, but it wasn't the two victims. See, they separated it. Problem is, when you separate it, how do you identify the unknown if he's not in CODIS? Koberger wasn't in CODIS. If they got a partial profile, they could start the familial for genealogical testing or to build a tree. If they don't have that, we're not getting IGG in this case. IGG did not solve the Delphi case either. They wanted nothing to do with IGG. In fact, I can pull up a video where Paul Holes, one of the leaders in the industry, right along with Cece, who helped find, what's his name? The Golden State Killer. He said Delphi had their hands full with their DNA because they didn't have enough. They had partials, they had hair strands with no follicles, this and that and the other. Bridge Guy wasn't ID'd because of DNA. We don't know what happened there, but I'm just saying, anybody who's got their hopes up that we're going to get an announcement in a day or two, we got the guy, they can only do that if they can get a profile from that DNA. If they can't, well, we're not getting nowhere. So we're going to have to wait and see. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it went to a crappy lab, because I damn well know better. Enough people have put enough research into it to know that wasn't the situation. In fact, CC Moore came out and told everybody the guy who originally tweeted and threw shade at the Florida lab was one of their rivals in the industry. So there you go. It was somebody random throwing shade on eggs, and people picked up on it. How did dare nanos do that? We can call him out on the things we should call him out on, but what is protocol for all states? You don't call out. It's just the way it works. And CC has explained it numerous times, so enough of all that. If they can develop a good enough profile, they might can get somewhere with IGG. Otherwise, they're not. It's going to be a dead wall. You know what I'm saying? You just, and then if and like CC said, if this person at the door is of Spanish heritage, you may have a very difficult time finding this person. Not everybody's running around throwing their DNA in the databases like y'all think they are. I have a huge family, and I think 3 have put their DNA in a database. Maybe. Not everybody is willing to run out and do that stuff, contrary to popular belief. I am one of those people. They're never going to get a swab out of me. I'm good to go. Finding out my ancestors, anything is not going to change me today, right? I get the ones who want to do all that. But for everybody to think that, you know, this is the answer, always will be, I don't, not so fast. It only will be if enough people are in the databases and if they get a good profile off of, say, a weapon that they find at a scene, right? DNA solves a lot of cases, but you got to have DNA to get there. Hey, Happy, welcome in. Tracy, I think I said hey to you. Welcome on in, guys. Now, there's been a lot, there's still being theories floated out there, and the profiles on the guy at the door are changing and evolving, and it's weird to watch. It's kind of confusing to watch a little bit. Now, there's been a little bit of misinformation going around in the case as well. Little man DePetro, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm in a mood today. I'm just going to call things like I see them. I've always called John DePetro Little Man because Little Man got on my nerves in the Karen Reed case. It was like, sit down. I've got no ill will towards you, but I don't know you. Sit down. I don't know what you're doing. But Little Man come out with a report because he's still on the boots on the ground outside of Nancy's house because he won't leave either. And he says, oh, a neighbor says the 3 men in such and such rental house moved out after Nancy's abduction. Well, sir, the lady was interviewed on Brian Enton, and she clearly said they moved out before the kidnapping. Little man, do your research. Don't run around throwing up Enton's reports as your own. And if you actually spoke to the same neighbor and got the same information, you wrote it down wrong on your notes. I heard the lady say it with her own mouth, and we're going to review it. I'm just like, enough of the weird misinformation, right? And like, if I never watched you before, I'm not going to watch you now just because you're sitting outside of Nancy's house. Now, when a case happens, we want to see the area. We appreciate being able to see it. Being able to see and visualize around the King Road area was everything in the Idaho 4 case. Trust me, it was everything. I'm not mad that we got to sit here for a week or two and saw all the things that were going down around that house. But at some point, it's time to back off. There's nothing going on, right? But a lot of things were said on that street. A lot of bad information was being put out there into the public. A lot of names being thrown out there that don't mean anything, like y'all are not getting to the real stuff. So just the misinformation parts and then people see that and they think, oh, well, some guys moved out right after. Well, that lady says it was before. So things like that matter. And if you got a neighborhood full of houses and there's very few rentals in that neighborhood, I've already checked. I deep dove that a while back. There's only a couple of rentals in the neighborhood. If you got somebody who moves out, people will notice, right? I would like to know how long those people were there in that home. To forget the drama of somebody moved out. Okay, that's great. People move. That means nothing to me. But how long were they there? Right? There's follow-up questions you should be asking. How long were they there? Were they living here a year? Was it 6 months? How about 3 months? Would give us a little backstory there. If they had been living there a year, I don't see a red flag that they just moved. Y'all don't know why they moved. It was an abrupt move in the middle of the night kind of thing, right? They leave all their stuff behind in the house and just bolt. You're not going to leave a bunch of stuff behind if you are a criminal of some sort. Hey, Happy. We're glad to have you back. I went over to Gigi's the other day to watch the Corey Rickens verdict. whatever her last name is, Rickens, however you say it. I did go over there and hang out with you guys and watch the verdict. Her guilty plea, her guilty, found guilty. She all like, I thought she was gonna pass out for a second. Like, look, that lady gonna pass out. Like she didn't see it coming. Facts do matter, Happy. Of course, when they're coming at us at all angles, as fast as they were in the beginning, we were still trying to keep facts from fiction, right? And hone in on what we can prove and not prove and all the things that were going around. But, I don't, people will automatically begin to assume these people in this house that moved out right after. Hell, I'm not going to move. I'm going to just, what if they didn't move at all? Because I'm going to ask again, did Miss Nancy ever leave the neighborhood? We got no visuals on anything of her leaving the neighborhood. But I'm going to unpack that probably tomorrow night. I'm going to try to get a guest up here with me and we're going to go through some things. I was happy to be over there. I'm like, I'm going to go watch this verdict. I know right where I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to go find Gigi. She's literally about the only creator that I'll go watch. Outside of just reviewing something, right? Like I watch Enton and all that, but as far as I don't watch a lot. I don't have time. Y'all, we missed an exciting case that we did not follow over here. Whoops, what did I do? I clicked a button I shouldn't have. Okay, don't break it. Don't break it. Let me play y'all something. Let me get y'all something. I don't. How many of y'all followed this, and how many of y'all actually? I mean, I saw what was going on. I didn't know the gist of it because we were all so busy with this, Nancy Guthrie case and different things. And so I took a look yesterday. I was like, holy hell, what? What? Okay, let me get it. Y'all know about Afro Man, right? Let me play y'all a little ditty. So this man was sued by a sheriff's department. Was it a sheriff's department or what were they? Yeah. Um, his house got raided and they didn't find anything. Like he was innocent or whatever, a mistaken house. I don't know. I think somebody turned him on to him. Anyway, the whole thing. He put videos out apparently about the cops storming into his house. And anyway, the cops sued him for defamation. 7 deputies sued him for defamation. They claims his videos caused them intentional infliction, emotional distress, defamation, and invasion of privacy. And they were seeking 3.9 million in damages, right? And anyway, the court sided with him. Yeah, lemon pound cake. I was like, what? So the court sided with him. He didn't do anything wrong. It was basically a freedom of speech case, right? And freedom of speech prevailed. All right, so let's let his video get a little playtime. That is so messed up. He has a couple of them on there. He's got a few videos. I saw that Butterfly did drop his link. Y'all go show him some love. That's crazy that it went that far. You know what I mean? So he starts making videos about them raiding his house and stealing his goods, his mama's lemon cake. Lord, just when you think you've seen it all on these crimes, right? Now, calling out the dirty cops, right? How did you raided my house? Why? You know, again, what's in them warrants? So an informant apparently gave them his name and it was false. I don't even know the whole backstory there, but at least they sided with him. They were only mad because he put out videos. They weren't mad that like he broke a law, right? They're just like, you're talking about us, kind of like when Nanos, got that interview when Enton got the interview with Nanos and Nanos whips out the phone. Well, look what you've been saying about me, Mr. Enton. Like, dude, you're weird. Stop it. Okay. So good for Afro Man that he won his case and he doesn't have to put up with it no more. I wonder if he'll be able to like sue them for anything. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all gonna have it stuck in your head all day now? It's wild. It was like a 3-day trial. I think they say it was really hilarious. Did any of you watch that little trial? Little trial. Did any of you watch the little mini trial? Maybe we will over the weekend for something to do. Yes, free speech don't equate to defamation. If it'd be different if he just had no reason to come out and start naming them all and pointing fingers at them, right? But he like had proof. Y'all stealing my money and my pound cake. Ain't find no kidnapping situation over here. They had him. They said they were raiding his house to look for drugs and kidnapping. I don't know who he allegedly kidnapped. Speaking of warrants and kidnapping, there was one of the experts talking about, they're all like, y'all have faith. They're working behind the scenes. There's things y'all don't know. But we don't know, right? We don't know what they could possibly have. So one of the experts said that maybe, and I think it was actually a guy, I'm going to show y'all him in a minute. He is a source. Anyway, maybe they have a lead, just don't have enough evidence to get a warrant written. And I thought, well, damn, they sure didn't waste no time getting Carlos' warrant or Luke's warrant. Are we talking about the FBI obtaining a warrant, or are we talking about Pima County Sheriff obtaining a warrant? What do you mean they don't have enough to get a judge to sign a warrant? I still don't know why they signed off on Carlos's raid or Luke's raid. And why all of a sudden, when those two back-to-back raids happen, breaks on, we're not raiding any more houses. Because this is getting ridiculous, making us look stupid to cops. What we don't know is who initiated those raids on those two particular places. Was that Nanos and team? Hey, we got a tip, FBI, we're rolling. And they're like, all right, dude, well, we'll tag along, but okay. I don't think so, because in Carlos, when you listen to the audio, they had a lot of investigators working on Carlos's case, including the financial crimes unit. They literally say that in the audio, the financial crimes unit. I'm thinking, okay, so y'all got those warrants, but you can't get a warrant on anybody else. It's weird, and why, right? Weird, and why? The weird stuff can't be happening in these cases no more. That's what makes them so profound in some ways. There's too many oddities, right, that don't make sense. And how can this day and age people just go missing without a trace? Last one, major case that we all looked at was Sebastian Rogers. Just poof, gone, like self-combusted out of earth. How does it happen? I don't want to be one of those people that walk out my door one day to take a stroll or be torn out of my home in the dead of night and nobody ever find me again. Could you imagine? And how does that even happen this day and age? Without some sort of something, right? We got the camera guy there at Nancy's door, and we've heard now that, so I haven't been live in 2 days, and right after we ended our live the other day, like literally not even a half hour later, the news was coming out that they had recovered thumbnail images from the cameras on the guest house. And those of you who have been here since day one with us, we've been asking, what about these cameras? Did y'all find anything on those particular cameras? There's something weird about those cameras that I don't understand. Because now they're saying that they were able to recover thumbnail images from the cameras that show activity in Nancy's yard prior to the abduction. No activity the night of the abduction, apparently. Or either it's no activity or no pictures. I don't know. And then after the crime, they claim there's a thumbnail of the cops in the backyard. So is there a thumbnail of Nancy getting dropped off on Saturday night? I don't doubt that she did. I know she did. But do y'all see that on the thumbnails? On Sunday, before the cops arrive for them to be seen on camera, do you see Annie arriving? Like none of the media has even questioned that. Oh, activity in Nancy's yard before and none the night of, and then the next day we see cops. Go into the activity in Miss Guthrie's yard. Is it nighttime prowler activity? Several people on the property at one time together? Or is it the pool guy cleaning the pool? Is it the landscaper doing something in the yard? What do you mean there's activity in her yard? Would that not alert Nancy to somebody? Because everybody's like, oh, that one picture, backpack, no gun, was taken January 11th. Miss Nancy never saw that. Or just ignored everything on her phone about her cameras. I don't buy that. There's just a lot of weird. I want to know what those thumbnails show you. So here's the thing. I'm tired of calling out Sheriff Nanos, because Nanos is not in control of this investigation. He lost control day one. He tried not to relinquish control, but he had no choice, because the only thing out there to investigate is digital type of evidence at this point and get your DNA back. Otherwise, sit down, Sheriff. You're done. FBI needs to come out now and hold a press conference. Y'all like to stand around in the background, nod your head, and look at each other, and okay, we approve that comment. But y'all went hard. You even had Cash Patel come out and tell us all how hard you were working on that case. And there was about to be a break in the case, and y'all were going to need our help. And lo and behold, the next day, we got images from the camera of a guy on the porch. We had Savannah come out and prep us a day prior. We're going to need y'all's help. The next day, we get these videos and these images. But according to Nanos and them, we just got them today, and as soon as we got them, we put them out there. No, you did not. You couldn't have. You gave the family a 24-hour heads up at least, because I'm going to tell you right now, that's my mom, and you don't call me and tell me you recovered video, you're about to put it all over the internet without telling me first. Sir, I'm grabbing me a microphone and I'm coming to talk. That's just, Savannah might need to grow a pair right now. No shade, lady, but come on. The little damsel in distress can only work for so long. Time to get fighting mad. Fighting mad. And show whoever took your mama that you're not going to fucking take it. Right now, it appears we're just taking it. You won or defeated. Or does the FBI know something we absolutely have no idea about, and Savannah's fully aware of it, and the best course of action right now is not to say a word. Maybe just seeing her come out and talk, period, is enough to trigger somebody. Not in a good way. But you would think there would be a game plan in place if they were trying to reach a particular individual or set of people or whatever. Now, I'm going to hang on 1 second. Let me get this out of my way. It's also odd. Now, I get not going all over the entire city doing grid searches. I get it. You know, people keep going on the internet saying, why don't y'all do searches? Let searchers, like, first of all, where y'all going to search? Do you have an ideal location in mind other than her house and the properties surround? That's like Detective 101. Outside of Nancy's home, where would y'all all go search? Now, do they have a reason to think they shouldn't be out there searching? Because how many times when a missing person is gone do we see them, the community rallies, right? The law enforcement all come in, the canine groups come in, and people search on foot. We know that happened here in the beginning, but nothing since then. Also, one more thing. Where are the flyers all over town? Are we not putting up flyers for Miss Guthrie? Do they believe they have a reason that they don't need to do that? That's just one of the oddities about this case that aren't adding up compared to other missing person cases. All efforts that go into trying to find them, right? The constant fees from the family, the flyers going up everywhere, people out searching. We haven't seen any of that in the Nancy Guthrie case. And I have to ask myself, why? Now, I won't put all that off on the family because they're probably going by whatever law enforcement's telling them. And I don't mean Nanos. Can we just forget he exists? Because he does not exist in Savannah's world. He doesn't exist in the FBI's world. He no longer exists in mine. In fact, he may not exist in anybody's if they have their way in that town and get their recall. So there is a petition out for a recall on him. I think so, Butterfly, the billboards. The only thing, you're right. Thanks for bringing that up, because there have been the billboards that have gone up. And I don't know if they're blip boards or not, Butterfly, like we saw with Sebastian's case. Because they had one in Navarre for Sebastian when they put those up. That's not far from me, out on the coast. But they did put the billboards up. which I think is important because there's no guarantee that this person who took her from that home stayed in the state of Arizona. How can anybody say they stayed in Arizona when we don't even know who they are or why they were at the door? How can you guarantee me they never left Arizona? How can you guarantee they didn't? So if they did, you want those billboards on the states surrounding that area. I think they've got them in that region right now, Happy. I actually went to go look up that information the other day. I know people have sent in a couple of places where they are, but I don't know if it's a blip board or not. Let me see something, because you can go on their website and it'll tell you all the locations for the billboards if it's on a blip board. Um, let's see, what is this? So they were going to put them in. This one was in North Texas that they put up, but I don't see that it says blip boards though. Yeah, this one is a digital billboard displayed near the split between US 121 and Sam Rayburn Tollway in Louisville. I would like to get a map where all of them though. So I know they're okay. So they got them in North Texas. They got them in the surrounding states there. I know California had them out too. 'Cause getting to California from Phoenix ain't that hard. Yeah, I think that's the one I was just looking at there, Happy, the one in Texas. But I don't know how many. I remember when they first mentioned it, they said all the states they were going to put them in, and I know they were all surrounding right there. Now, will they expand them and put them across the country? I don't know that they would, because you would think whoever took Nancy's not willing to travel across country with her. That's a little risky, right? You probably didn't go too far, but there's still no guarantee you stayed in Arizona. And there's no guarantee you stayed in Tucson. Hell, there's no evidence you left the damn neighborhood once you took her off the front porch. So I would be interested in that rental property people moved out of. And it's just weird that the FBI is they're sitting back laughing while everybody goes at Nanos and blames him for everything under the sun, but they're not coming out and saying a word either. Like nothing. How good are y'all at your jobs right now, right? Why are we only picking on Nanos? Because now I'm going to start looking at the FBI. Y'all have nothing, do you? This person literally pulled off some shit. And everybody wants to just make fun of him and his flowers. What if that irritates him when people say he was trying to cover up the camera with flowers? Or does he laugh and go, fucking idiots? I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of the camera, let me play this real quick before we get started into the other stuff we're going to look at, review. Megan Kelly had a guy on. It was one of her producers, and they did this little experiment, and I'm going to show y'all. It's under my Afro Man song. Okay. Let me get. Okay. So the producer puts on, he's going to show you guys getting that Nest camera off. Let me get this up here. I think the FBI was the one who put the billboards up. That wasn't Nanos's idea. He don't have very many ideas. Well, he got ideas on how to keep his expensive home and car. But he ain't gonna put up no billboards. Probably never crossed his mind. He's like, what y'all doing with billboards? Billboards? I heard y'all was putting up some billboards. You gonna show off my Corvette today? Oh, they're for Nancy Guthrie. Gotcha. Sorry. Hey, Jet, welcome in. Right, there's not much evidence, and we're all trying to keep an open mind, but there's not a lot of evidence to follow. Tricia, put your damn dirty fingers on mama's cake. Okay, let's watch this guy with the Ring camera. Oh, do I have it up there yet? Let me see. Hang on, I messed my thing up. Yeah, okay. Oh, because I was not. Hang on, where's my. Hang on, I gotta start over. Where am I? There I am. Okay, now. Wow, my thing just went. Something ain't right here. Hold on, y'all. I'm not right. Something is weird. Get off my screen there. Let me get this back up. Like, it won't show me. What is Restream doing right now? Like, I gotta be able to see what you guys are seeing so that I can make sure it's all working. Lord help me. All right, we're gonna try this. I think Restream just broke itself. Mercury's still in retro. Let me get it back up. Okay. Okay, so they're going to show you a demonstration with the Ring cam.
A Nest camera.
Or Nest.
And try to get it off of its holder on the wall. And he did this little video. It's very clear. Watch this. Watch.
Okay, Megan, I've installed the Nest doorbell camera on our door to the garage here. And what's interesting is it comes with a little tab, just a little flat tab, almost like a tip of a screwdriver, really. And that's how you remove it from the top. So you just push down and it clicks right off, sort of. There it goes. So it pulls right off that way, and that's how you take it off to charge it, because it is battery powered. It needs to be charged every so often. There's no wires here. And you'll see this plate looks exactly like the one that you see on the house at Nancy Guthrie's house and all the news videos. So it's the same model. And to put it back, you just click it on the base after you've charged the battery, and it's there. And the question is, how do you get it off without the tab? And I was excited because you said we could smash this if we wanted to, and you'd pay for it. But you don't need to do that. You actually, just with a little bit of force, you can pull it right off. And the base is still there, undamaged. And actually, this camera is still recording. So if I take this and throw it or put it in my bag, it's still going to be recording for a little bit.
Now think about that. If they can find that damn camera, what would it show? Now, y'all pay attention to how he was trying to get that thing off in the very beginning of this video. It looked a lot like what the guy at the door was trying to do. And it didn't work. He didn't have a little key tab to pop it off, so he turned around and grabbed some vines instead. And I think he might have succeeded, because we don't know what happened after that. We have no idea.
Longer. So I got to think there's still video of that they haven't recovered that might show a different angle of things that we haven't seen. There's no evidence that it was damaged on the front porch. So my guess is it was just taken out of Wi-Fi range, and that's why it disconnected. Or
now, he just said no damage on the front porch. Now, the only one to report anything about that was Mike Ruiz. The only one. Enton never reported seeing broken glass or fragments on that porch. If any of y'all can catch that anywhere, let me know. Because I don't even know if he would have seen it. Was he looking for it? But Mike reported seeing a couple of fragments down there. Smashed camera. Maybe it got smashed up while he was trying to take it off. I don't know. And maybe a few pieces fell. But I would be interested to find that damn camera. Where did they dispose of that camera? Is it sitting where they took Miss Nancy to? And what did it record? Because it kept recording once he pulled it off. There's no way to turn it off once you pull it off until it's out of range. Then it just stops responding and, all the things.
They could have turned her Wi-Fi off, but taking it off the base, like I just did, does not disconnect it in any way. It's still capturing.
That's
Thank you. Thanks, Not Me, for coming in. You have a great day. Don't work too hard. All right, I want to watch this again, guys, where he's trying to get that off.
it's very clear. Watch this. Watch.
Okay, Megan, I've installed the Nest doorbell camera on our door to the garage here. And what's interesting is it comes with a little tab, just a little flat tab, almost like a tip of a screwdriver, really. And that's how you remove it from the top. So you just push down and it clicks right off.
Do you see what he's doing? Doesn't it look a lot similar to what the guy in the video was doing? He was trying to get the damn camera off.
Sorta. There it goes. So it pulls right off that way, and that's how you take it off to charge it, because it is battery powered. It needs to be charged every so often. There's no wires here. And you'll see this plate looks exactly like the one that you see on the house at Nancy Guthrie's house and all the news videos. So it's the same model. And to put it back, you just click it on the base.
That's wild, because I know that guy. We all know he got the camera off and took it with him. But what did it continue to capture? Right, Happy says, I think they recovered a lot more than we know. I think so too, because why would they not see Nancy come on the camera when they searched through the evidence, right, and pulled up the screenshot and the video that they did find? Did they not see Nancy coming out that front door? Or did that guy remove that camera before they brought her out the front door? Because when he steps up on the porch, he does step to the left and look through the window, right? And here's another thing. Those doors are locked. Her main door and the security door. They have to be unlocked to come out those doors. Now, Maureen described the security door as from the outside, you would need a key to undeadbolt it and get in. But from the inside, it shouldn't be that way. So I don't think Nancy would have had to have had a key to unlock it from the inside to get out. Maybe, maybe not. Did they leave a key hanging by the front door, right, at all times so we could unlock the door if needed? My question still is, when authorities arrived or when Annie arrived, was that front door unlocked? Because if they took the time to stop and lock the door back and the security door as well, how did you lock the security door if you need a key from the outside to do it? And was it even locked? Like, they bring Miss Nancy out, they just shut the doors and leave with her and the camera. But that camera, if he took it off, so if he goes to the porch and say there's somebody else inside with Nancy by this time making their way toward that front door, he comes back out the back. Why wouldn't he just come out the front door and then remove the camera and then bring Miss Nancy out the door so the camera don't see that part, right? It's weird that he took the camera from the outside of the house, that he walks up. It's like that was like the first thing he did, because he's coming up on the porch, bites the light, sees the steps up, and goes right for the camera. Was that the first thing he did when he got on the property? If you take it off from inside the front door, you mean like inside the house? How are you going to remove it? Like the wiring and stuff? I'm confused. What do you mean? Butterfly, I'm talking to you. Because you said if you take it off from inside the front door, you avoid being seen. You mean you fuck with the wiring and stuff? Because the camera's on the outside of the door. And we don't even know still where all these cameras are located. Well, we do know we have a Ring camera nest at the front door, and we do know we have the two on the guest house. I saw a news story report that there was one camera on the guest house and one camera on a fence. I was like, a fence? Hell no. Here's the proof that both cameras were on the guest house. Yeah, they can't mess with that camera from the inside. There's not even, I mean, I guess you could, but this guy walked right up to the porch and that was the first thing he went for, it looks like. I don't think he walked up there to make sure we got Nancy to the front door yet, because he could have just come out the front door and done with the camera. All right, it just, that part makes no sense to me. But we know he got it off. And we see it's not that hard to remove those cameras. And he was literally trying to pull it off with his hands, and it wasn't coming off. We all saw that. Then he goes for the vines. And then when people were saying he was trying to cover it up, I'm like, that makes no sense to me when I saw him bend the vines in a certain way. There was no way he thought that was going to form over the camera and just rest on it and cover it all up. Do y'all see what I'm saying? That is the stupidest thing in the world. And people just cannot review it without, because you already, when I started to review that, people were already saying covering up the camera with the spoilage. And I'm like watching it, I'm like, how are they getting that? If I had not had that thought, I'd have went with what everybody else was telling me was happening. Now I could be dead wrong, but I think he was trying to use the vine to pry the camera off the bracket. That's just, and Ashley Banfield, I guess, is the only one who rolls with me on that theory, because this guy can't be that damn stupid. He's gotten away with it 47 days later, still uncaptured, still no real leads or clues as to who the guy at the door is or why he was even there. We know he was there for a purpose, but what was the purpose? Ugh. Hey, Forrest, welcome on in. Are you feeling better, buddy? I hope so. I hope you got some rest last night and you're regaining your strength. He was feeling a little under the weather for a couple of days. Oh, yeah. Okay, Butterfly, I got you. Hey, Carrie, welcome in. Good to see you. How's the little one? We haven't had a little one update in a while. I mean, what is something leading them to say we don't need to put out flyers everywhere? It's all over the local news. But do y'all know how many people don't watch their local news? I'm one of those people. I don't know why. I don't even watch TV. I mean, I watch TV, but not like news, right? Um, I, my family will come to me, hey, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? I'm like, no. They're like, you cover true crime. You don't even care what goes on in your own county. I'm like, well, I do, but I am following a couple of local cases and found out about another one this morning that really interested me. But yeah. Oh, you can focus today for us? Good deal. A lot better than good, good, good. Hawkeyes, lots of viruses going around. I know. So winter brings all the damn viruses, and I catch them so easily. I did good this year. I think I've had twice I was sick. And that's with me literally staying at home the entire winter. I only went to the store and back. Well, that's not true. I did go to the races once, and I went to the camp for the family cookout a couple times. But that's it. I stay home in the winter. I freeze. There's nothing fun out there for me to do. People can get me sick when I walk out the door. I was practicing safe habits before the pandemic. I have autoimmune disease. You breathe on me, I'm going to get sick. And then my heart broke when the world were like, we don't care if you're going to get sick. Stay home. We don't care if you're high risk. Stay home. Okay. What would Jesus do? We all forgot to ask that question during that pandemic thingy. Remember, for the longest time, you went everywhere you went, you saw that what would Jesus do? Then the pandemic happened, and everybody forgot to ask that question. I I knew what Jesus would do. Okay, enough of that. People are weird. People are weird. There's a song out there called "People Are Crazy." Beer is good, God is great. Beer is good, and people are crazy. That is my stepdad made over. He'll tell you that all day long, or he would when he was still with me. Yes, we're ready for spring. I've got a pretty spring day here in the Florida Panhandle. As somebody on Twitter so nicely pointed out, that's where I'm at. Oh, what are you gonna do? Come find me? What the fuck? Over nothing? Nice of you to point that out. That means you must be watching my streams. Okay. And how do they know this guy was on the porch January 11th? We were told there were no timestamps. Now, was it an article that I have about that? Let's see. Where do I have that at? Right here. Oh, it's not there. It's here. Okay, it's okay. So if this guy showing up at Nancy's, you know, beforehand, and the date dates of interest, those Friday nights too, just like the abduction, right? Facing the area, it's like, oh, maybe the week student and the writing guide. It like that. If the person was there on the board, it was just weirdness on her. We have to think she was. On February 10th, the FBI released the images recovered from her Nest doorbell. Um, so it would be January 11th. They're saying the guy was there. Authorities have a different Authorities have at different times asked for neighbors to check their home security systems for the entire month of January. On the first and in February. We looked at that case, obviously the most on there that person, of course, try to place the person there. No, 11th guy, he's that it's you can get some place that that stays see in fact get I don't know how they know this. An analyst, he is around 5'9". We after these photos were dropped. Sound is choppy. Is it choppy? I'm showing. Let me know if it's still sounding choppy in the chat. Yeah, act right, my internet. Act right. I've got the. I'm hot spotting the PC, but we've got good internet today. But I am close. The phone is close. Do I still sound choppy? Did it just start actually? Can y'all still hear me? Hello. Hey guys, can you hear me? Better now? Yeah, the signal's going in and out. I can see it. I don't know what's going on. Better after the refresh. I mean, I can try to refresh on my end too. If it takes the stream down, then I can always pull it back up. Better? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's because a lot of people are using internet. Because I paid for extra internet for today to make sure we were good to go. Okay. Hopefully it'll act right. I just don't know how they can come up with this. I need the FBI to come out and clarify. Do you have a timestamp on that date, sir? January 11th. What's going on here? Because that's really causing it confuses it, right? Because we're all like, well, how could that be January 11? And Ms. Nancy would have never have seen that. We don't know that she didn't see it, right? If you just saw a guy on your porch or in your yard, now if I saw a masked man, what if you call the cops? All you can do is report what you saw, right? And show them the image, and they'll write a report up. We have not seen anywhere that ever happened. Maybe it didn't go that far, but if that was my mom and she saw that, I would be like, we need to call and make a police report, mom, because that's not good. You know what I mean? We got to do something here. So it makes no sense that Ms. Nancy wouldn't have seen it. And the thumbnails on the guest house cameras, if it shows these individuals in the backyard, if they were, you know, the prowlers in the night that we've been seeing all over town, wouldn't Nancy have seen that too? And it would have raised some alarm bells. You would think so. You would absolutely think so. So I don't know where they're getting that information from, and how we can even verify it. You know what I mean? It cannot be verified because the FBI won't come out and say shit. They hightailed it back to Phoenix. Get away from Nanos. He was getting on their last nerve. And they're like, we're just going to peace out on this dude and let him continue to hang himself. All right, so let me get this pulled up and we're going to take a look at this before we get into reviewing some stuff here. Now, this is going to be about, let's see. Oh, wait. Hang on one second. All right, let me pull it up. And it's recall the sheriff. He ain't no good. I fought the law and the law won. We need some Afro Man videos. All right, can y'all see that? Okay, yes, you can. All right. So he is facing a recall now. And I'm not going to say that his political adversaries or people in the town and the department are using this case, but they certainly took the opportunity to plead their case now that all eyes are on their ridiculous sheriff, right? And you can't blame them. Take the opportunity when it presents themselves because he's shown his true colors to the entire world. Group needs more than 120,000 signatures to trigger recall election. Let's see, you around town in your sporty little Corvette there, sir. You make around 100 grand a year. Your house is worth about $850,000, and you drive a fine ass convertible Corvette. Again, I'm going to ask, who's keeping you in office and why? Embattled Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos is facing a recall effort. 13 News confirmed with Pima County Elections Department that the effort was launched on March 12th. We're aware of the recall, and it's the right of the people, Nanos said. We'll always honor the will of the people, and that's what makes democracy. Daniel Buterez, is that how you say his name? Who is also collecting signatures to get on the ballot to run for Congress again after losing to Adelita, I don't even know how to say that last name, last year, is behind the effort of the recall. Oops. He told 13 News he submitted the petition because he feels, as he and has heard a similar sentiment from others, that Nanos should not hold his position any longer. He's pretty well proven, not only to us, but the entire nation, that he's not the guy for the position. So I just think we need to move on and get someone else just in there that's more qualified. Meanwhile, Nanos insists he has done everything by the book, but at the same time, he will honor the people, the will of the people. Would he now? It's a lot of signatures. I'm sure they can do it, Nanos said. I'm sure they can do it. He's like rooting for him. Oh, it's a lot of signatures, but I'm sure y'all can do it. Gotta hire people for who from wherever. What are you? Word salad and goodness. He starts out the day with word salad. Do those things and then we'll worry about what the voters say then. Gotta hire people from wherever. Do those things and then we'll worry about what the voters say. Look, voters, he doesn't even care what his voters have to say. That would be a red flag to me. No, we got to hire people. Then we'll go look at what the voters have to say. Because to be honest with you, if the voters aren't happy with me and they vote me out, that's okay. Now, we all know he will sulk. He's like, that's okay. That's okay. The recall effort comes just days after Nanos addressed discrepancies in his work history and a lawsuit filed against him and his department by an inmate. Nanos has been facing national pressure over his department's handling of the Nancy Guthrie case. Gutierrez said one of the main reasons that really pushed the decision was Nanos' handling of the Nancy Guthrie case. But Nanos said the reason he withheld information from the public was for the integrity of the investigation. We're not mad at you about withholding information, weirdo. He thinks that's what it's about. He admits that he is not perfect, but insists he always prioritizes the safety of the community. And then here's a copy of the application for the recall petition serial number. And of course, Chris Nanos, Pima County Sheriff. And it is signed by Mr. Buterez, who is filing it. And it was filed on the 12th of this month. So I guess they're going to be trying to get their signatures. He has 120 days from March 12th to collect more than 120,000 signatures needed to trigger an actual recall. I feel like there might be a handful of people in that department that are going to be like, all my friends and buddies come and sign this. If enough verified signatures are collected, oh, don't put dead people's names on there, y'all. A recall election will be held. Anyone who qualifies to hold the office can run, and the candidate with the most votes wins. Oh, is that how it works? I like it when they always think we're like idiots. 306 elected officials across the country faced a recall election in 2025. We're not concerned about all them today. Give us a minute, we will be. So, I don't know, guys. Y'all think they'll get their 120,000 signatures that they need within the timely fashion to go forward with this recall election? I think they will. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Because Nano's got all political and personal, and instead of keeping it about Miss Nancy Guthrie, he didn't mind letting us all know he had a beef with the FBI early on. You're a messy individual, sir. Oh, Butterfly, I did see that tweet you sent me earlier. Remember, we were talking last night, and I said, hey, certain person got told to DM somebody, and they did, and we're like, uh oh, we're going to wait with our tea and see what happens. Well, we saw what happened, didn't we? Oh, Lordy. Mm, I think I better just hold off on that. It may not work out in the best for me. All right. Let me look at my notes here. What we gonna go over? Okay, so that was a KOLD. Mary Coleman was the one who broke that recall story in the beginning, and we'll see how that plays out. Did you see the tweets this morning, Butterfly? I mean, you sent me the one, then I went. There was two actually, and I've been asking the whole time, where is she? Where is Magnolia? Where'd she go? What happened to her? She was always nice to me, and she never blocked me on X like JLR did. Because I asked him a question during the Idaho 4 case. He comes in throwing all of his shade, then dips out as usual. Stirs the pot and ran away. He was the reason all the shade was thrown against Dylan Mortensen. I'll just go ahead and say it right here, right now on my live show. He's the reason everybody started going hard after Dylan Mortensen. Then the man bailed out and acted like she was an angel. Okay. Again, Magnolia, I hope you're doing well, honey. So, Joseph Scott Morgan's producer always is on Nancy Grace, right? Dave Mack. Now, they're reporting over there that the Uber driver came to pick up Nancy, and did you see them, Rachel? On Nerdy's tweets? Yeah. If y'all want to go check out Nerdy Addict on Twitter, guys, a great uh, account to follow over there. Just drop Nerdy's link in the chat to Twitter, and people can go figure it out. They can read. Y'all can scroll and read. Um, mm, it's a good account to follow outside of what I'm talking about. Anyway, so Dave has reported that, when they got to the Uber driver had a camera in his car, his or her car, don't know, and it doesn't matter to me, man or woman. Um, but he had video of the ride from Nancy's over to Annie's. So he's already turned that over to the authorities. So any conversation he had with Miss Nancy, her demeanor, right? Everything would be seen in that little video. And it wasn't that far over to Annie's, so like a 10-minute ride, they say, something like that, 8 minutes, something. So it's not that long of a ride. But people are like, oh, yeah, we want to see her demeanor. What do y'all expect her to be distraught and scared and talking smack with the Uber driver about her family's harming her in some weird way? What do we expect Miss Nancy to tell an Uber driver? Right? I mean, it's probably just a casual conversation, but it will also show authorities how well this lady's put together, that she does have her faculties, that she can function just fine on her own, right? Shit, she's taking an Uber all by herself. So it'd be interesting. Don't know if that'll ever get released. Don't know that it should, right? I feel like so much of her privacy's already been invaded, and rightfully so, because we're trying to figure out what happened. So that was one report, because I know I haven't been live in 2 days, but I kept up with the things that have been coming out over the past couple of days. Yeah, there's Nerdy's link in the chat for his Twitter account. Okay. So Brian Ingham was reporting a couple of days ago that the FBI had been back in the neighborhood very recently again, asking about January 11th, January 24th. Those are on the weekends, right? So when you're trying to piece all this together, you have to ask, well, did another neighbor's camera see something they think is suspicious? Not the neighbors, but the cops. And are they trying to figure out, is this connected, right? So now go look at this happened on this date that we see this. Say they saw an image from January 24 on somebody's camera that looked a little suspicious to them, or they wanted to try to follow up on. That would provoke, we need more information about this date. Like, I don't think they have anything specific to those dates. I think they have other information relating around those dates, right? And they're just trying to hone in to see, what do we see on those dates? A lot of people have turned their cameras in from around the area. We know that. And of course, the neighbors were being asked about any Wi-Fi outages January 31st all the way up to February 1. Now, with that neighbor behind Nancy claiming that the two cameras facing Nancy's weren't working, when this case first happened, and we went to the map, and I told you guys that house on that cul-de-sac is set backwards. The front of that home faces the back of Miss Nancy. Everyone's like, did he sneak up from the road behind her? It's a freaking cul-de-sac, people. You park on my cul-de-sac, I'm going to notice your car out there. So no, he didn't come in from behind he didn't come in that way. He would be stupid to do that. But that house, those cameras do face Nancy's backyard. But there's a wash and a lot of trees in between there. Remember the thick tree where the tree house is at? So again, we don't know why those two cameras went offline. People are going to speculate till the cows come home that he had the jammer. If there was a jammer involved, would we have the scratched images from the Nest camera? If he was so sure his jammer was working, why bother to take the Nest camera? I'm not convinced there was a jammer used. I couldn't tell you why the people in the back's cameras didn't work, and why we just heard about it when I said from day 2, I want to talk to the people in back. That would have been the first house I went to when I noticed their front yard faces Nancy's backyard. Hey, Keith, welcome in. And welcome to the lead investigators. We are so glad you're here. I got your message, and I'm going to get back with you because I'm thinking tomorrow night, if you're free, I'd like to have you on so we can discuss some things. I saw that this morning before we went live. Now, we knew there were a couple of houses under construction in that neighborhood, and there's one in particular that's not far from Nancy's. Now, one of the neighbors had already stated in a Brian Ingham video her friend was having that house built. So now she spoke a little bit more. That's the house where apparently they have went to and asked about, give us the information on the contractors. That would be normal. I would think normal investigating, right? You got people, we looked at that at the Sebastian Rogers case with the construction behind the homes there. Who are all these workers coming and going? You have to look at all that stuff. You just have to. Just like you have to look at a family, you have to look at those guys. Because a lot of workers, even undocumented, a lot of them work construction. I'm not saying that is a thing. I'm just saying good old American boy out there on the construction team might have a long rap sheet. We don't know. A lot of them do. And that's just the way it is. I think people people thought they were asking the neighbor for like a list of all the employees that were working around the construction site. I'm like, no, they would have approached the homeowner and said, give us the contractor information. Then they would reach out to the contractor. Can we get a list of all the people that are working on this property? And there you go. That should be the end of that. And they should absolutely look into that. We're going to look at okay, so let me pull this up. Because remember I told you DePetro was out there reporting live that he done spoke to a neighbor, and these people moved out after the time, but that is not what the lady said on Brian Ensign. And I got the timestamps. We're not going to watch that. The Afro Man video started automatically in the background. Like, I'm going to crack up again. Okay. Let me get my timestamp right here so we can move along with this. And I think this is the one that aired on the 16th, in case you guys are wondering, over on Enton's channel. Okay, she's at right here. Screen.
Any rentals around?
Okay. Watch share screen, but nothing happened. Hold on. Performance warning. Hang on a minute. I'm not sharing. What's going on here? Oh. What is it doing? Hang on. Something funky happening back here on the restream. Okay, now let me try. That might have been a problem, was causing our problem earlier. Okay, now can you guys see that on the screen? Yeah. I thought I have everything set.
Here, but there was a rental nearby, and whoever lived there had moved out within a few days of this happening. They had moved out a few days before because the cars were gone. So I just became, you know.
Now, see, she says they moved out a few days before. Now, it won't be hard for the FBI to verify that information, because if that's a legit rental property, there's going to be a record of who lived in that home, right? It's going to be easy to find those people who moved out of that house. That is like the easiest thing to do in this case. We got a house, neighbors are reporting, people lived there, they suddenly moved out. How do we know it was suddenly? Did they ever talk to anybody? How long were they there? How many of them were in the home? There's a lot to ask about that, but that's going to be one of the easiest things to figure out. All you got to do is go to the agency who rents the property, and boom, you got the rental history. You don't rent houses like that without signing a lease or in giving up a lot of your information, right? It just don't happen. So I just don't feel like that house under construction and we're grasping at straws when we're looking at the construction workers now. Like, one got an idea one day and he pulled it off and he's gotten away with it for no reason, not even to ask for money.
See something, say something. So I thought it's probably nothing, but I'm just gonna.
Right.
I'm gonna call. I'm gonna talk to them and just let them know that there was somebody living there and they're not there anymore. And so I confirmed with a couple of the neighbors. Did in fact you see those cars aren't there? He said, yeah, they just moved out.
Yeah.
And these neighbors that I spoke with didn't have any footage of it because it stops at their driveway.
Well, that's the thing people don't get is the footage here. People's houses are set back.
Yeah.
It's not like footage from the front door is gonna get people out on the street or
Well, and I think in neighborhoods where it's just a regular neighborhood, houses are closer together, and
Okay, well, we know all that. We understand how that works. Houses close together, all that. So a lot of those driveways are long, though. You're not going to see a lot of things out there. What is going on with my restream? Did you go look at the Twitter account we were talking about? Did you see that? Yeah. If that's what you're talking about, right? Because I've been asking that question for a while. What the hell? Because old girl's gone radio silent. That's for sure. So I couldn't help myself earlier. I did go into somebody's chat and ask where she is. Okay. Um, we're just kind of reviewing some stuff today, guys. I'm going to go over some more stuff in depth about like routes in and out of that neighborhood. Just kind of go back over some evidence type stuff. And I really want to get into that like maybe tomorrow night. Today, I'm just kind of reviewing some of the things that I've seen over the last couple of days because some of it's very interesting. And I'm still watching these conversations with these quote unquote experts, right? Expert profilers, expert this, expert that, ex FBI weighing in on different things and getting their takes on it. It's been a real interesting study, I'll say that, to watch them over the past 45 days, I'll say, these experts, right? Hey, Firefly, welcome in. Nothing new. We just doing the true crime as usual. All right, let's see. We're going to review a little bit of what. So Ashley Banfield did something on News Nation. Well, what she's doing is she's taking her podcast, Drop Dead Serious, and then she's throwing a bunch of it together. And then I guess News Nation will do whatever they're doing. I don't know. But I got this one clip from her, and we're going to review a couple of different timestamps within this show because we're not going to watch the whole thing, obviously. I need to put that on silent because it starts playing in my head every time I click on this over here. There's a lot of ways in and out of Miss Nancy's neighborhood, not just the internal neighborhood, but out of the actual neighborhood, right? Like, if you took her and left the whole neighborhood, which way did you go? We have no car of interest, right? Unlike Idaho 4, we got a creepy crawly car right here next door. We can see it plain as day. We don't even have that over here. If they hadn't had footage of Brian Koberger's car, all they would have had, period, was the DNA off the sheath. Okay, let me get my first timestamp up here. So this is part of her discussion. What was it with Jim Clemente, I think? And when these experts are trying to talk, I wish they wouldn't get interrupted because he's trying to explain something. But what? There we go with the fluff again. Calm down, girl. Calm down, Ashley. I could guess that. I could guess all that. Well, no, not finish. Sorry, I just had to. I'm like, just let them talk for a minute, man. Okay, so this aired on News Nation yesterday, I think it was. Okay, where you at, Jim? Right here. Oh.
Nation as well. Tracy, based on what we know and understanding, there's a lot we don't know. What is your theory about what happened to Nancy Guthrie?
You know, it's funny. I've never shared it like publicly on any of the news outlets before.
Okay, for those of you who do not know, Tracy here she was an FBI agent and a CIA agent. She's called a hybrid agent. And that's what I heard FBI themselves call her. She's a hybrid agent. I've been following Tracy for quite some time. I know all the work, boots on the ground, she was doing trying to find Osama bin Laden. This lady was down in the trenches, like she was in there deep. Um, so here's part of her theory.
So I want to be sensitive, obviously, to the Guthrie family in talking about this, but this is what I think happened. And I said from the beginning, one of the things that I thought was interesting is that her mom's home was readily accessible, the address, phone number, all of those things on a site called Been Verified. It has since been taken down. And so what I think is this is someone who was either obsessed with Savannah, either had an issue with something she had done, said, or someone that she had interviewed, and has some kind of a personal problem. I would imagine they've already gone through any stalking emails and things like that that she may have received, and this person may have actually not reached out to her. But I think this is someone that was simmering for quite some time, and upset with her, and as a result knew it might be difficult to get directly to her, or thank goodness her children, or the rest of her family, and so picked, in my perception, probably the most vulnerable person or the easiest target in her family, to essentially get back at her. And so I think this person planned.
Now, she's not the only one. Theory now.
I don't want that, but I think this person planned this for a bit of time, and that's why my mother was selected as the target.
But do you
I don't think this just woke up the other day, 47 days ago, and said, I'm going to kidnap this old lady. No. Whoever did that, regardless of why they did, they took some time in planning. And how long did they take to plan once they got that idea in their head?
would go to such extraordinary lengths, because this truly was extraordinary, just to exact some revenge to someone they hadn't even reached out to themselves at any point in advance of this?
Here's the thing, Ashley, I'll just share something personal. I think if I had not been a victim of several different pretty severe stalking incidences in the past, I would agree. But because I have been, and because I've seen what these individuals have done who have never reached out to me before, that's why I'm leaning more towards that, only just because of what I know I've experienced personally.
But this is the case, and again,
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that.
this is all conjecture, because we don't know what happened, and we don't know some of the evidence that the police have obviously collected. But if this is the theory, would he have taken her alive, or would he have taken her dead? Both of them just seem so extraordinarily difficult.
I think they both seem so outrageous, to be totally honest with you.
You want what link do you want, Happy? This one to this particular show? Yeah, I can do that, but let me know if this is the one you want.
But as I said, before, it is obviously working CIA. I've seen what horrible things people can do, to each other. Experience that, for yourself, right? And people stalking you, and physically, all of those things. It's not readily apparent what people, are.
You're wondering if she could be biased because of her past experience as well. Maybe, but I doubt it. because the thing about it is she does have insight. And I don't know why people are so quick to be able to accept robbery gone wrong, SA gone wrong, ransom gone wrong, but we can't wrap our heads around stalker. Like, no, nobody would do that, right? Yes, they absolutely would do it. Now, Tracy's theory is evolving because at first she didn't say stalker, but they're all running out of theories because none of the theories are making sense. None. Burglary gone wrong makes no sense. SA gone terribly wrong and took the victim to hide all the evidence makes absolutely no sense. What's left? And I think that with so much of not actively trying to find Miss Nancy, makes me wonder the FBI knows someone took her out of that house. We all see it. Do they know why yet? Ransom or stalker? That's your only two options left. Your top three theories, it's on my top three. I've only got three. I've not took robbery gone wrong off the table because everybody's fixated on it. Ransom gone wrong, back to the first two ransom notes. Or an obsessed person at the door. Or was the person at the door really the obsessed person or the person working for the obsessed person? And are you still with us, sir?
Capable of. I don't believe that she was killed in the home. I do believe that she was probably taken alive. And
Okay, so taken alive. We're going to get to a guy here in a minute who's going to tell you she died inside that house. Well, sir, you're an ex-prosecutor. You're not FBI, CIA, crime scene tech, Joe Scott Morgan. None of that. None of that, Mr. Murphy. You're a prosecutor. But you think she died inside the house with visible blood outside the home. Yeah, she could have been. No. All these conflicting things, right? It's like y'all make up your minds. Was she alive in the house or y'all can't get it straight? So what makes you better than us at this point? All right, we got another timestamp to get to in this piece right here. Let me take it like so I can get it up correctly. So that is one person's opinion now. We're going to see a couple more coming out about this looks like a stalker. And when I tried to discuss this weeks ago, I think people thought I was crazy. I was bringing up past stalking cases, and I brought up Rebecca Schaefer I brought all that up. No, 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 it's a robbery gone wrong, SA gone wrong. Look at all these prowlers in the night. And it can't be ransom. That TMZ shit was dirt. TMZ didn't get the first letter. So now all the experts who blew off those letters are now revisiting, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And people are getting confused thinking that second batch of letters pertains to the first two letters, and they don't. Who's going to ask for 1 Bitcoin? They didn't ask for 1 Bitcoin in return of Nancy. They asked for 1 Bitcoin in return for information on Nancy, right? It's like I literally heard a show say that. They asked for 1 Bitcoin. Who's going to do that? Like, no, they didn't. Please get it right. If you're going to do it right. And if you're not sure, say, I'm not sure. I do that a lot. I'm not sure. Not everybody's perfect and going to get it right each and every time, but dang. Like, you're getting the small details incorrect, you're going to get the big ones incorrect. And then what are we doing? Let me grab this link. Was this the link you were asking for, Happy? Was this one? Okay. I'll get it in just a second, put it in. Let's see where I'm at here. It works when I make my screen bigger. All right, let me get my timestamp here. 52. Okay. It's just you have several people on your show at the same time, or you do a show like this and you put them all on, but they're all say different things. It's so weird. I mean, of course, we want to hear all the different options, but okay. So now he's going to talk about his take.
And I've talked to you about this before. I think she was dead inside the house. I've always believed that. I hope I'm wrong. This is absolutely horrible for the family, of course.
What makes him believe that? Exactly, Firefly, and we have pointed that out since those images were released. The second we saw them, we could see that aspirated spot on the ground. What nobody can tell me, though, is how close to the ground was Miss Nancy, right? But hopefully we'll learn that eventually. But it was so obvious. But Matt, every time I see him talk anywhere, he says that. And I'm like, where do you get that from, dude? You must have been a bad prosecutor.
But when you see blood like that on the outside, and you're talking about somebody she was very, not very old, but she was old and she was frail and she had a heart condition. And when you're bleeding that badly on the outside of the house, that's the one thing we haven't seen, Ashley, is we haven't seen photos of the inside.
So he thinks she died in the house, but bled a whole lot outside of the house. It's weird. The body was still bleeding out once she died. What about the aspiration mark there? I mean, even the blood spatter experts have agreed with our theory on what that was. Gee whiz.
I'm not suggesting that we should have seen those, but there was violence visited upon that poor woman inside her house. When you look at that video, that guy was there with a plan. And when you see that backpack, like we talked about before, I think there was a tarp in that backpack.
Oh, God, not again with the tarp. Because people are running with that. She had to have been wrapped up in a tarp and carried out, folded up like a burrito. But maybe. But if there's two people, and even if there's one, you got an 84-year-old lady that you probably don't need to wrap her up in a tarp. That would be suspicious, coming out the front door carrying a body in a tarp. What if somebody passed by and saw it? Like, oh shit, what was that? That's a little risky, don't y'all think?
And that is one of the things that you'll see when you deal with enough violent crimes as a police officer or as a
Look back at your buddy. Look back at your buddy. Parked over there in the driveway where we can't see. I'm going to use this vine, man, to get that damn camera off.
prosecutor or as a judge, is they come in with kits. Now, that's commonly a rape kit. A lot of people think that you...
Okay, enough of him, because he thinks she died in the house. But I'm just showing y'all the different... So people watch these different shows, right? And they hear one thing here, one thing there, and then we don't know what to think. But I think it's pretty clear to all of us, Miss Nancy was alive when she came out that front door. Now, I'm going to pull up another clip from that same show, and then we'll be done with Ashley's show. And this one has our favorite real FBI agent in it, not that Jacoff lady. Is she cussing and discussing yet, Butterfly? Have another glass of wine. Okay, let's see. He's like, she's old. Dude, that Matt Murphy guy's always bothered me. I don't know why. He just has. I feel like I see him on a lot of different shows. People have him on for commentary or something. So this is a part of a conversation between Ashley and Maureen O'Connell. And if you've been following the channel for a minute, we all know who she is. If you've been following the case, you know who she is. And we can all thank Mr. Brian Enton for bringing her to the masses. Because, man, everybody's wanting a piece of her now. Okay, so this is a part of their conversation.
Don't know. What do you think happened in the Nancy Guthrie crime?
Well, I think initially, whatever was supposed to happen may have gone south. And I think Nancy, unfortunately, was injured when they were either trying to get her out or perhaps trying to get her attention when they first got in the residence. And then they got her out the front door. She bled on the front stoop, got into a car, and we have no idea what happened after that.
Do you think she was alive or dead when they took her?
I think she was alive when they took her, but I have no idea what the status is now. And I'm obviously, like everyone else, losing faith as time goes by. And it's just devastating.
When you see the perpetrator on the camera, and as sources have said to every journalistic outlet, those images on the camera are from different days, which would suggest this person cased Nancy's home on a different date and then arrived on the 1st of February. When you see that perpetrator on camera with that backpack, knowing he cased the place, what do you think he was there for?
Well, I know he cased the place prior, but I'm not so sure that that image wasn't taken the same night of the abduction. And the reason I say that is because it would make sense to me that he would have put Nancy in the car and then he walked back up to the front porch because it was an arduous experience trying to get her.
I asked that question. Did they already get Nancy in the car at that point, take his backpack off and leave it in the car, and then hand his weapon to the second person to guard Nancy? What if that weapon, everybody's like, why is he carrying it in front of his crotch? What if it wasn't even loaded? You're going to scare that lady to death with that gun. We have no idea if it's loaded or not. Neither does Miss Nancy. But that guy knows if it is or not. He could have easily given that firearm to the person in the car to keep trained on Miss Nancy while he went back to make sure of what, though? He didn't go back to collect any evidence off the porch, like his vines, the camera pieces, if there's any there. We don't know what to make of that at all. But I wondered the same thing. Was it the same night? And did he already go to the car and take the backpack off and the gun off? But why would he go back up to the door? The camera was still there because it sees him. So that don't make any sense, right?
Out of there and into the car and everything. And I think he went back to the front door to look to see if he left any evidence or if he.
But the camera would have been gone at that point because he clearly had the backpack on and the gun when he was removing the camera. So there's no way that image was captured after the fact.
Left anything. But it could have been from another night. But to me, it makes, because who's going to put on the exact same outfit?
I mean, to me, it's shocking as well.
She has asked that before, who's going to wear the same outfit? And I thought, well, if that's what you plan to wear and dispose of later, you might just wear it. There's no answer. I couldn't tell you either.
So if you want to have an outfit that you're going to dispose of, maybe you've got the same one. And given that the very first time of disconnection is 1:47 a.m., well, it's only a little less than 2 hours earlier to hit a different date, before. And we have never been what that other date is.
That's a fair point too, yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think the mission, motive, intention was for this guy, given the backpack, given the stealth, given the awkwardness of how he approached that camera?
The whole thing never really seemed to me to be.
Why are they saying it's awkward? He knows it's there. He's holding his head down for a reason.
About a kidnapping. It just doesn't make sense to take an 84-year-old woman with mobility issues who's bleeding and put her into a vehicle. I just can't see the upside of that. From the smartest criminal to the dumbest criminal. You can't see anyone making that decision and thinking it's a good one.
it wasn't. It was.
It was
You think the intention was to come in?
take thing, and they had plenty of time in there to take something, unless, of course,
Hang on. Can you guys still see me and hear me? Because something's acting crazy with the restream. If you guys can hear me in chat, let me know. Okay, y'all can hear me, but you can't see me. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. It is blank. You can't see me at all. It's a black screen. I got a black screen. I think you guys got a blue screen. Oh, none of my photos are up. Okay. Yeah, something shady going down here with my internet acting cray cray. I don't know if it's going to let me pull up anything else to share with you guys or not. Let me try to refresh my screen. You guys bear with me. If it takes the stream down, I'll come back up in a little while, but I'm going to hit refresh and see what happens. Okay, y'all can see me again now. Static. It got choppy and then staticky. Okay. I don't know what's going on with it. I had great internet last night. I was over here just surfing away and watching all kind of stuff, and this morning it was fine too. Of course, when we go live, it's going to act up. They started gurgling. Oh no, we haven't had real internet issues in a minute. Damn Mercury in retrograde. When does it stop? Make it stop. Let's see. Okay, let me see this. I'm testing out something, guys. Give me a moment. Oops, that's wrong. Oh, okay. We'll see what happens. I'll try to pull this back up. If it goes crazy again, we'll just take it down and talk for a while. But really, that was about it on that one. Now, there is really, because Maureen's theory was like a hit. But I don't know why. If somebody had a beef with Miss Nancy directly, or if it would be with Savannah, to make her come up with that theory. And I think the only reason why she has developed that kind of a theory is because no one knows what to make about these the ransom letters, right? Because everybody blew them off immediately because TMZ. But no, we cannot forget they didn't get the first letter. And the the news organization that got the first letter never put it out in the media. So then they send one to TMZ knowing or hoping they would put it out into the media. And they did. And now a lot of the experts are starting to go back to the first two and question why are we not hearing a word about finding those people? A word. It didn't take them long to find the text messaging guy. But we've been saying it here. It's been crickets on these ransom letters, and Nanos made it clear. FBI's in charge of all that. So maybe the FBI needs to come out and answer some questions about your videos that y'all were able to scratch up. It's just there's something that we are not seeing yet. I mean, I think we're seeing it. We just don't want to believe it could happen. We don't want to believe that 80-year-old women can be a victim of SA either, but it happens. Yeah, we're trying to be live, not me. We're trying. Things are working against us today. They're trying to shut me up today. The universe is like, girl. So they also reported over on Megan Kelly this who was he? Let me pull that up. He claims, let's see, let me find. Every time I click my playlist, that Afro Man song pops up and it just starts automatically and I can't make that stop. Okay. I'm going to try to share the screen again. If it starts to go wonky, y'all let me know. This is her video from News Nation that aired the 17th. Butterfly premiered March 17th, and it's a News Nation piece. Wait, I have to do it from my phone. Let me grab the link real quick. The way I have to do it, I can't do it from the PC, but I can do it from here. And I'll give y'all the one we're watching. Okay, let's see. Share, copy. Okay, here's the link to the one that we're trying to review, guys. Or the one we were reviewing. Let me pull up the other one that I wanted to look at now. But that was the one from that link I just shared is the Ashley Banfield show that was on News Nation. And it was just over, I think, over an hour long. But it was a good watch, especially with Jim on there, because he starts talking. I think I missed that. Hang on a minute. Let me go back to that. We started messing up, and I don't think I went back to it. Because Jim was going to bring up the ransom letter stuff, and that's when she began to interrupt him. And I was like, wait a minute, let the man finish. It's like we just can't wrap our heads around that, right? It was about the ransom stuff. Okay. Where's my... Jeez. Why is it not... Oh. There we go. Okay, so every time. There was two that I wanted to, let me show you this one first. This was only going to be a tiny piece. This guy talking, so I can show you who he is and what he's been saying. And he's went to a couple of places to say this now, so. All right, let me know if it starts to act up, guys.
I can report from a very, very reliable source that is boots on the ground there that the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office have no leads, no solid suspects.
What?
And this is from someone boots on the ground that I trust. All right. They have no solid leads. I can also report that it has been confirmed this morning, and I'm sure we all assume this, that every family member passed polygraphs with flying colors. So what does this other date have in mind? Probably tells me that there was just some images or some type of electronic evidence that's kind of pushing them to try to dive into that date a little bit more. But that is a
That's
conversation that
huge,
I
though.
had.
That information is
It is.
huge. So then,
I don't know why it's so huge when we all are at that same place. They may have some leads, but they have no real suspect in mind. Or do they? But he's saying, and he's a former SWAT member. I don't even know if he's got ties to the town or not, but people are believing him. So, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know who he is. But that's, we heard that the family all passed, their polys and all that stuff, and they got their car back now. They've not been arrested, so I don't think the family did a damn thing. But no solid leads. And I think we were all already there with that, obviously, that not that we know of, right? Because nothing's happened. There's been no movement. Uh-oh, let me get what is going on with my screen today. All right, let me get to the part of her show that I want to talk about. Yeah, cold case. And what do cold cases actually mean? They're cases without any damn leads. And everybody's kind of banking on somebody will know the guy at the door and recognize and call and report. I can remind y'all, 5 years they put the bridge guy video out in Delphi, and not one single person in that town ever said, whoa, that could be the guy that works at the CVS. Not one time. So don't bank on someone's going to notice his gait and notice the eyes and then notice weird behaviors and go, oh, you're the guy, and call the tip in. 5 years went by and nobody in Delphi, Indiana placed Rick Allen as bridge guy. Not one single person. Even though a sketch of bridge guy hung in the CVS where the man worked for everybody to see, nobody ever thought, damn, Rick, you look like that bridge guy. So we're not going to hold out hope for somebody recognizing the guy at the camera and turning him in to get their $1 million. Or whatever they're now. All right, let me get our timestamp on this one. Now, this one aired yesterday over on Megan Kelly. I'll always say it wrong, I guess. Where's my timestamp? Okay. She's got Fitz on here. Fitz is one of our FBI guys. He has his own podcast channel as well. And a lot of you will be familiar with Fitz when you see him. I think a lot of you probably already are. Uh-oh, somebody having some beef. Okay. Let me get this up. Ah.
And just to go back to the first part of what you said to me, if this person who abducted Mrs. Guthrie had a trophy room before about Savannah with her pictures and little incense and candles, I assure you, it is much more incorporated now in terms.
He's gone so far as to say there might be a obsessed person out there, a little shrine to Savannah. And that's not out of the realm for these kind of obsessed individuals. They 9 times out of 10 will have some sort of shrine to the person they're obsessed with. Think about that. You just added the ultimate trophy to the collection. What? It's hard for me to believe somebody would go through all that, but they will do it. I'm not naive, and I know there's other famous kidnapping stories out there, right? Like, it legit happens, but it's hard to say, hell, that could have happened, but damn well could have happened. And I just can't take it off the table. And I've been saying this from the beginning, especially when the ransom letters went south and everybody just threw that in the garbage. Okay, since we're sure it's not that, it's got to be an obsessed individual.
Of a whole
And people are like, no, it's not that either.
second wing of that trophy room or trophy section of the house in terms of artifacts keeping to remind him of his very keen interest in Savannah. And again, I'm not locking into that, but that's something that these guys.
And I would love to ask them all, why, if you go with the theory of an obsessed person, why are we so sure it's a man? Because there's a man at the door. We got to figure out why that man is there and who put him up to go into that door. Is he a lone wolf, obsessed individual all by himself? He's the obsessed person. He's going in to take what he wants. Or is there somebody else actually the obsessed person and this guy's doing their bidding for some reason?
Investigators have to look into. And as far as
let me just add one other detail before you
Yeah.
get to the camera analysis. The ABC is reporting that the cameras recorded nothing suspicious. That's how they put it. Nothing suspicious. But they
So if it was nothing suspicious, then you didn't see a bunch of prowlers in the night crawling around Miss Guthrie's property the way we do 2 miles and beyond away, with all the random night crawlers that we've seen over there. We've seen them. There's probably 1,000 of them. Hell, I don't even know anymore.
were able to observe
So they had to be like people who were supposed to be there. The pool guy.
several people in the back and side yards over an unspecified period prior to the abduction.
Several people roaming around the property and nothing, but none of it was suspicious. So you saw Nancy in her own backyard? Her family? What are we doing here? What are we seeing on these thumbnails? Why hasn't the FBI released the thumbnails?
And they said that also they have images of after Nancy was taken, law enforcement officers seen near the pool.
So if law enforcement officers were seen near the pool, that's the same day that Annie arrived over there to check on her mom. Should see that as well.
However, the cameras captured nothing on the night of the abduction, said sources.
And how do they know that? Because they don't see the guy with the mask on the guest house cameras?
Investigators have drawn no conclusions as to why, but one source described.
Yeah, Firefly, they haven't said they got masks on or not. They said nothing suspicious, but random people in her backyard and on the side yard. Like, what random people? Were they employees? Was it the pool guy? Was it the landscaper? Was it the roofer? What the hell? Who's running around Miss Nancy's yard? And if all of those of you have followed, especially with Nerdy's content, we've seen all the prowlers in the night over there. Was it some of them? That would be suspicious, right? They're like, it's not suspicious. So apparently these weren't masked men or unmasked backpack men running around. We don't know who the hell it was seeing.
It as odd. No images on the night of the abduction. I mean, why? This is like the same thing.
And that goes back to the jammer in the pocket. Was there really a jammer in the pocket? That you got to wonder, why would he feel the need to take the front camera if he knew his jammer was working and doing a jam up job? And the experts were like, that thing's not going to reach all the way to the neighbor's yard. That smaller device in the pocket, it's just not going to go that far. So and also though, we have to keep in mind, we have heard from so many people that how the Wi-Fi in that area, especially around Nancy's home, is completely cattywampus. You might be standing around her driveway and lose your signal and walk 5 feet down and you got signal. We saw that happen with Brian Enton, what's his name, who was live streaming relentlessly. We saw it happen with all of them. They'd be buffering, right? Who knows if there was internet connections coming in and out, right? In and out when you're in that kind of an area. It may be common. Maybe that's why them cameras on the neighbor's house didn't work. We don't know what to make of any of it. Yeah, Rachel, logic would tell us a walkie-talkie. if there's a second person and they need to communicate. That's logical. We know we all saw what was in the pocket. We all see a little antenna, but nobody can guarantee us what it was and what it wasn't. But it makes sense to be a walkie-talkie. Like, it's got to make sense, or no, we're not going there, right? When it starts being weird, we're piecing out on it. Y'all think it's a walkie-talkie too? But I mean, if there's a second person on there, and I guess they need to communicate. Bring the car around now. We're good. Bring the car around.
As like the neighbors saying, their cameras went off on the night of the abduction for the period they believe around the time she was taken, but we've had other smart analysts say they don't believe that the guy had a Wi-Fi jammer because there's no way we'd be seeing those images of the guy pulling the vegetation out and putting them on the
Is that video playing for you guys?
doorbell if he had a Wi-Fi jammer on him. I don't know what to.
All right, I've got the video on pause because I'm playing it in the back here and can see it, but on my screen it looks like it's frozen for you guys. So y'all let me know in chat if we're good, what's happening here.
Believe, but it is strange that they see lots of thumbnail images prior to her abduction, the police after the abduction, but nothing the night of.
In my early days as an investigator, some places would have surveillance cameras, security cameras, and the bank cameras always work.
All right, I'm going to take that down for a minute because I don't know. Okay, video's good. Yeah, I can tell. And what I was seeing on my screen was frozen for you guys. So I took it down to make sure. Okay, it's playing. Yeah, I got to get the feedback so I know what's happening. All right. Especially when the internet wants to act ridiculous on us. All right, I got to get him back up. Okay. Let me put the screen back up.
To believe, but it is strange that they see lots of thumbnail images prior to her abduction, the police after the abduction, but nothing the night of.
In my early days as an investigator, some places would have surveillance cameras, security cameras, and the bank cameras always worked. And I'm sure Maureen can attest to that. You remove the old film, take it, get it processed. There you have pictures of the bank robbery in progress. But invariably, the other ones, private security.
Simi, I agree. And I don't know where they're getting that they're Wiccan. I don't know where they're getting that from. It's like anybody who messes with crystals or energy, are we all being labeled Wiccan? Right? Y'all want to label me a witch? Fine, go for it. I don't deny, but throwing shade at them. Well, a lot of it came too from Ashley's early reporting that Tom was, suspect, which makes sense in the beginning. But yeah, a lot of people, I'm seeing the same comments, Simi, everywhere I go, and it's just like I roll my eyes at it because I have deep dove those two as well. I just didn't put all that on the internet. There's no reason to do that yet. I was not one of those channels that plastered Annie and Tom. Y'all all know that. I knew all about the two of them. I have not seen one thing that showed me they're Wiccan. And so what if they were? But Wiccans, there's such a misconception. I think if people see you like an energy person or anything like that, oh, you're like devil worshiper. What about pagans? You take different things for your spirituality, and yeah, allegedly. But that's what people are saying that in the comments. I'm noticing it too. Well, Annie and Tom are into Wiccan, and we had a crime here where a man killed his mother and brother, and he was Wiccan. He staged the crime scene. He did stuff inside the home that was absolutely all Wiccan. It was a huge story decades ago. There's none of that here. But yeah, I'm seeing it too. It's bullshit.
Whatever. If you're lucky, if you get half the time that they actually work. Then we went to a whole point in time where all these cameras worked all the time, and they solved so many cases, not just cases Maureen and I worked, but other cases we read about in the media. Now we have this case of Nancy Guthrie. They have enough wherewithal to install a camera system in there, and even around the pool, whatever. And we have these failures to perform, if you will, or failures to provide an accurate recount of what happened that night. And yeah, I mean, the jammer part was always, I listened to, I think we discussed it last week, and I listened to that part, and sure, it's a possibility, a little bit extra sophistication than I would have given this guy, and really nothing else makes sense so far. But does the person somehow know the system to begin with, and it didn't require a sophisticated jammer type mechanism, but just knew the weaknesses and the flaws it contained therein? Or did they do something days or weeks before?
Well, we're giving this person at the door a lot of inside insight to what was going around, how Miss Nancy's home functioned. So if this person is aware of the camera systems and the weaknesses and all that, that puts somebody who's very close to the victim into the mix, in my opinion. Because the random guy who just decided I'm going to go do that, it's going to take a lot of time to get real familiar with all of Miss Nancy's stuff. And maybe they did.
To somehow counteract that system. I don't know. He could have just been lucky, and these particular images don't work. And the last thing I'll leave you with here is I appreciate all the sources that media people have. I was never a source. I never asked Maureen this question. I'm positive she was never a source for a media outlet. And you just have to be careful sometimes in what ABC and other outlets are reporting. And we know for a fact, I will say this emphatically, that the investigators have a lot more information, including surveillance images, than we know about. Of course, they're not perfect, not all the ones that they might want to see of the guy in progress.
Didn't Enton introduce us to Maureen as one of his FBI sources?
But at the same time, they have more than we know, and still shots, could do moving video people, could be animals, could be human. These are all things that the investigators know, and hopefully they're pouring it down into a funnel, and they stream of evidence that they will eventually know will take
That's a good, Rachel. Does the images from the guest house see anybody damaging that light, the floodlight? If it was now they're saying no images from that night. So did the floodlight get damaged that night? Because I got a hard time believing that Miss Nancy's going to see a bunch of strangers around her property and never act on it. I got a hard time believing she wouldn't have noticed the broken floodlight in her home, in her backyard, unless it had just happened, right? Brian was the first one to introduce her, Simi. Well, she already had her podcast, but it was over on the podcast places, like iHeartRadio and all that spot, wherever you get your podcast from. But he introduced her to YouTube basically. And then boy, when he did, everybody's like, who the hell is this lady? We want a piece of her on our show. She's way better than that Jacob lady.
I don't know, Maureen. The neighbors are saying that their cameras stopped working on the night in question right around the time that Nancy was taken. But again, other experts are saying if you had a Wi-Fi jammer sophisticated enough to jam the Wi-Fi at the neighbors' properties, there is zero chance we would have those images of the guy coming onto the patio and messing with the Ring doorbell.
Now that's true. Think about it. If we got a jammer, we don't see nothing. If his little jammer is so good, it's knocking out the guest house camera and it's knocking out the neighbor's camera, why is it not knocking out Nancy's Nest camera? Because there was no jammer. We just got cattywampus internet in the area.
Like if he had the
Unless he didn't
Wi-Fi
turn the jammer.
and it shut things down at 1:47, right? Because they're saying the doorbells went offline at 1:47, cameras went offline, but then an image was captured at 2:12. Like, what happened with the Wi-Fi jammer? It worked at 1:47, and then we forgot to use it when we actually approached the house.
Well, it depends on the user. So much of this could be chalked up to user. Likely was walkie-talkie because
I think connection for a second. I think it's better.
of them, or certainly weren't on, because we weren't able to find them. The cast team wasn't able to find them, and they're the best in the world at this stuff. So my guess is it's a walkie-talkie. They're easy to get. They're cheap. You can buy them at a swap meet. You can buy them anywhere. And it's just like, yeah, we've got her at the front door. Pull up to the front of the house. The camera's been disabled.
So that's
Boom,
it. So
up
if it's
she
a
comes.
walkie-talkie, Maureen, he's got an accomplice.
Yeah, I believe he has an accomplice.
Okay, I took all that down. We're gurgling and breaking up. I think it's when I'm sharing something we're having that issue, guys. When I'm sharing the screen. I don't know why it's doing that today. Uh-oh, I got a message. I got to check. Why is that even on my screen? It's like my daughter was trying to... Hang on, I got to make sure. Oh, wait a minute. Was this today? Hold on. My son was supposed to come by later, but I think now my daughter is coming instead. So I got to clarify with my children. Okay. All right. I feel like I am so lost right now. I can't even see comments. Where they go? Okay. Let me get back to you guys' comments now. Good, now that I took it down. Yeah, I'm going to have to... I had everything reset. Well, dang it. I just got... Let me see. Okay. All right. Now, I got my shit straight with the children's. All right, let me go back to this. I guess it's breaking up when I go to share screen with you guys and look at a video. Let's see. Do we know if the floodlight was a motion light? It was hard to tell. Do I have my picture, or my photo is going to show up? Let me see. Because I've got an image uploaded that we can look at. Okay. So you can see over on the left, I can't tell if that, what that is. That's probably they probably were motion lights to come on. Most of the floodlights are motion activated, right? You got the flip of the switch, you can do. But even notice how damaged the little brick behind there is. Now we know that the FBI took that light fixture down because it's gone now. They took the whole thing down. But we don't know when it was damaged, how long, we honestly, we don't know. We don't even know if this guy damaged it. But what could have damaged that alone on Miss Nancy's house, right? Like storms roll through and tear up things around your yard. It's weird that that floodlight is damaged into that way. It is strange. But the camera from the guest house would have looked right over this area because that's right beside it, the back door to the garage area there in the light. So that camera would have been able to see, right? Because this is the one here that was facing the driveway, the parking area, or the garage and parking pad. And there wasn't any cameras on this side of the house where the patio with the sliders were at. And then there was a light right there. If you look right above the guy in the blue shirt, khaki pants, right above his head, there was a light right there. I don't know if those lights were on that night. There's also two more on the other side by the sliding door. But I don't know if those don't look like motion lights to me, though. They look like the kind you got to flip on because I've looked at them pretty good. Those aren't motion lights. But we don't know when that one was damaged back there, and if the camera saw that or not. That would be interesting to find out. They claim nothing suspicious. But if they did see suspicious activity, but they can't make out a face, are they going to tell us about all that? Because then the perpetrators know they know more than they think they know. If it was images that we could get a clear, maybe some sketches going, or can put an image out there if you've seen this man. But if they can't, if these are little thumbnails, how clear are these images? And are they randos in the backyard? You would think if there was, they might put one out, look for this guy. Or maybe they wouldn't. But now that the news is out that they've recovered stuff, but nothing from that night, who knows what this perpetrator is now thinking? And was there any DNA evidence on that light fixture? Because if the bite light guy was doing something to that light, his saliva, remember, is going to be on his gloves probably from his little bite light situation. And if he's taking his hands and trying to snatch that camera down, did DNA get on that camera? I mean, on the floodlights. But guess what? The cops decided that they didn't need to take it for several days until the FBI come in and said, hey, y'all got cameras on the guest house and a broken floodlight. We need all of that. What are you doing, Sheriff? So any evidence that may have been on the light could have been degraded in some way because it was left there for a couple of days before FBI went in the backyard and took it down. That's the kind of missteps we wonder what the sheriff could have missed. Because not just the sheriff, his boots on the ground people that night, his own investigators overlooked the cameras on the guest house, or didn't find them relevant at all to even take, to examine, to turn into forensics. Nothing. They didn't take the light fixture off the back of the house. FBI did all that. So if they are failing on those little things that should have been done, what else did they have failure? We saw the fiasco at the front door. What about inside the home at the actual crime scene? Who recovered this mixture sample of DNA? Was it the sheriff's people or was it the FBI's people? Hmm. Yeah, Jet, it makes you wonder. Would it seem they would share some images if it would help them find the suspect? Exactly. But maybe it showed the suspect. They're keeping it close to the vest as they investigate. Yeah, I mean, but why say it's nothing suspicious, but you see people in the side yard and the backyard, and then nothing that night, and then the next day you see cops arriving or walking around the pool area? So this camera is intermittent. It just takes images when it wants to. Somebody gave Miss Nancy some bad advice on cameras. Remember when she put the post out about wanting cameras for the wildlife, and then she got her a couple, but they apparently were not that good. And why is Miss Nancy the only person in the country not getting alerts about what's at her front door on her Ring camera? Because hell, I know how many Dolphin gets when the deer show up in the backyard. A lot of you have expressed, notifications about this and that. Nancy, the only one not getting her notifications? Was her Wi-Fi show so shitty at the house they never came through? Oh, yeah, not taking the mat's going to be a thorn in their side forever and a day. That little bitch is still laying there today. Look, there it is. It's still there with greenery on it, blood nearby. Probably got blood on the damn rug itself. We got a few droplets that led down the driveway here, the sidewalk. Again, black iron hand railing here. If Miss Nancy wasn't carried from the front door down the walk and they're just huddling her along, was there one on each side? Or with just one person on one side of her? Did she need to grab this handrail coming down for a helping hand? Was it swabbed for anybody's DNA? I doubt Bite Light guy's touching on it too much, but we don't know. Did he think about what he was touching because he had gloves on, forgetting about his saliva? We don't know who installed those cameras on the guest house. If Annie and Tom came over and did it, or if she called somebody to do it. Savannah was not there. Savannah's not hands on every day taking care of mama. That was Annie's job. Savannah lives in a whole other state. Annie's a few minutes away. I know how this goes, been there, done that. Annie is the primary caregiver for their mother. I don't care what any of y'all say, it's the truth. It's there in front of our face. Not saying Savannah doesn't love her mother. She's got a job and a family. She lives somewhere else. Annie's just down the street. I don't know if Tom and Annie installed them or if she had a worker come out. And Miss Nancy had people who worked around the home. So maybe she called one of her guys to come install it, right? We don't even know how long they've been up there, but we know she did post in the Facebook group a long time ago about wanting cameras to see the wildlife. And if y'all been watching all the live streams, the little javelinas are running around every damn where wreaking havoc in the neighborhood. Are you watching them? So I don't find it suspicious that she put up cameras, because everybody should put up cameras. But we wanted to know from day one, when we noticed those cameras were up there, how come they weren't taken down already? And why did it take the FBI to come in to do that? So the fact that we know that it took the FBI to come in and actually take those cameras down, there's your first one in the circle there. See over here, there's the blue door. That's the blue door to the garage, and right beside it is the floodlight that was damaged. That camera, did it see that entire back door in this entire backyard? Because this one was the one that was trained over the green area. But the sheriff is just like, oh, she could have wandered away. It might be a crime scene. We don't know what the hell happened. We're just going to throw our hands in the air and pray for Miss Nancy. That's all he did. It's weird. So if you did that many missteps, you know they had plenty of others. Yeah, the javelinas were eating the flowers. I don't know where I saw it. I don't even think I saved it. But some of the neighbors got together and went down to Miss Nancy's, and they each took little plastic, like grocery sacks, and they were taking away the dead flowers and just trying to clean it up and make it look better. Because after a while, these memorials start to do that. Everybody they're gone. All the media ran off and all the things. So now the neighbors are left, right? So they did go down there and start trying to take away some of the dead flowers and things of that nature. Now, a lot of times in the missing kids memorials, like with Madeline Soto, there was a really big deal for Madeline's case. They took every single one of those locks that we put out there. They took every single one of the stuffed animals. They washed all of it. They got them all cleaned up, and they made another memorial for Maddie that wasn't outdoors, right? They did a whole thing. But you have to go take that stuff down after a while. And it was actually on somebody's property. But with what's going on out front of Nancy's, I think it was very nice of the neighbors to go over there and at least try to clean up and get rid of some of the dead flowers. Them javelinas were eating them. And that's just, circle of life. What are you going to do? You can't run them off and say, hey, that's a memorial, stop. They're going to be like, what? I'm just trying to enjoy some snacky flowers over here. Now, Brian Enton I don't want to bring the video up in case something happens, but this was, I believe it was last night's video, because I got 318 written here, so I think it was. But he talks about Annie's car, because that's been a big deal to a lot of people. They took her car, they kept it and kept it and kept it and kept it and never gave it back. They apparently didn't go through Carlos's vehicle and Luke's to the same detail as they did Annie's. But Brian's reporting that something happened when they were downloading the info stuff off the car. They didn't take the seats out because he had pictures of Koberger's car. Could they have done this to the car, and that is why it took so long? And the guy's like, no, they didn't do all of that to the car. But what happened was when they downloaded the information, it put things out of whack, and it had to go back to the dealership for the electronics to be fixed. And that's what took so long with the car. And why the sheriff or the person down there that McDonough and his wife Karen, she's been contacting them like for a week straight. She was in touch with that guy, and they just kept saying, "Oh, it's in process. It's in process." All they had to do was say, "We effed it up." And it wasn't Nanos that did all that. FBI took that car and did all that to it, right? So yeah, the infotainment system. All the newer cars have them, right? So when they download all of it, that go from your computer, your onboard computer, everything got downloaded, and anyway, it got messed up apparently, and they had to fix it for her. So she just got the car back. I never really made a big deal in my mind about why they kept that car so long. Like, to me, it kind of made, I saw what they did to Koberger's car. So my first thought was they probably ripped that poor car to pieces, and it may not even be drivable right now, as far as we know. But getting hung up on one thing and getting tunnel vision on that one thing is dangerous. I couldn't even let myself do that in the Koberger case. I tried to keep an open mind all the way through it, but more come out, and the evidence kind of stacked. It was, but we have to keep open minds. Yeah, that'll hopefully put a few people's concerns to rest, because they didn't have any concerns about them actually being involved other than, why you got the car, that means they're suspicious. Like, no, it's not. And that was coming from a top cop of all places. Hung slap up on it, and never thought for a second it could be because the car was torn so apart that it had to be put back together. I'm like, how you never got to that thought process after as much thought as you put into it, that never crossed your mind that maybe that happened, right? Again, I think a lot of this is it gets carried away. Like when Ashley, didn't get to play it because the internet's acting crazy. It looks like it's running strong now. But when she was interviewing Jim Clemente over there, and he went to bring up the guy at the door and the possible kidnapping, and he said if he wrote the ransom letter, and she's like, whoa, 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 wait, or we're going to say they're real now. And he's like, well, yeah, if you let me finish. And if people will start listening to the experts in the know who actually have worked those kind of cases before, they might get a little information. I could have guessed where Nancy's watch was if I was a ransom writer letter. And I'm like, but can you guess the exact spot? All the way to the left, all the way to the right, or dead ass in the middle of the nightstand? Can you guess that particular? Can you guess, the media said the floodlight was broken, and the guy in the letter said the floodlight was broken. He knew that because of the media. Okay. There was other specifics, and we're going to review those first two again soon, because there were specifics in there that didn't pertain to the stupid ass watch being left on the damn nightstand. There was more to it than that, but we just ran with that part. Oh, anybody could have guessed all that. Okay. So if we're taking, but when the guy tries to explain to her, there could be an actual possibility behind that, they get interrupted. Or when they go to talk about the possibility of an obsessed person, they get interrupted. But what about this? Well, none of that makes sense you want to talk about, so let's talk about something that might make sense, right? It's like, why do y'all do that to them? Let them finish saying it, and then have a conversation, instead of interrupting them and telling them their knowledge as Federal Bureau of Investigations people is crap. Well, I could have guessed that. And the guy just shook his head. He's like, man, I was like, I feel your pain, dude. I wish she'd let you talk. Because when we shut them up and we don't let them finish, it's easy for everybody to chalk up the ransom and obsessed person to absolutely nothing. And I think that's happened. A lot of people have decided this is not ransom because, the media told us so. It can't be an obsessed person. The media is not talking about it. We all know how the media people roll now. Yeah, it takes a while for them dealerships to get the parts and stuff happy. It certainly does. And I don't have any of the photos uploaded to show you guys of Koberger's car, what they did to that car. Of course, they had to go deep in his car. He was the prime suspect, DNA in the house and all that. They said they didn't go that deep with Annie's, but They did screw something up with the electronic system and they had to repair it, which makes sense, right? And I can't. Now we know that sometimes, if a family is involved, it could take a long time before they're ever arrested. Just because they haven't had a charge yet doesn't mean one won't come in the future. But right now, it just appears they didn't have anything to do with it. And we also wondered, did Savannah feel some type of way? And is she just keeping the peace, keep your enemies close, one eye on the bad guy there? But it appeared she was just fine with her family when they showed up at the memorial together. You know what I mean? So I think if we get hung up and let ourselves think this can only be family involved, that's just letting the perpetrator have more freedom. Jim, you're talking about Jim Clementi. He was the one that Banfield was trying to talk to when he was trying to talk to her about the ransom letters, and she kept interrupting him about anybody could guess the information. No, media has been saying anybody could have guessed that for forever. That we are so quick to chalk everything up as nothing. Oh, that's fake. It can't be real. We could have guessed that information. And I'm sitting here going, scratching my head, going, for real? For real? We're just going to make it all that damn simple. Okay. I don't know why it looks like we're good. Okay. Do you guys think they're any closer to getting anywhere? Like, do we think they might have a lead? Did any leads come out of anything? It's so dark out there. We all know that. We've seen it with crappy cameras, spotty internet, cameras far from the road, all the things. But when they get to the outskirts of the neighborhood, all avenues out, nothing sees anything if you guesstimate the time they took Nancy out of that house. If you go by the timeline, pacemaker comes offline, 228? We get her into a car and they drive away. 10 minutes to get to this intersection. Do we have cameras and what can we see? Apparently, these cameras didn't record shit, so that would be a dead end road. You'd want to go back to all of the ways in and out of the neighborhood from all the major points and go look at cameras. Do we see a car exiting this neighborhood at a certain time? And we don't have that apparently, and I don't know why. I think they're further back now than when they had the list of 40 names, right? I mean, it shows you they were looking at all the avenues apparently, and they got the 40 names from allegedly 40 holsters that were bought. That's turned up nothing. Not even the holster purchase. So I have to wonder about the guy at the door again. That's going to bug me till they find that guy. Who are you? Why are you there? And who the hell put you up to it? And I don't think you got a 9 to 5 and you're busy Monday through Friday and you only came on Saturdays to stalk Miss Nancy's property. I don't buy that at all. You may have a 9 to 5 somewhere, but you're a loner at most. But how would they live if they didn't have a job? How are they making it? Are they just a street level criminal making their way the only way they know how? And they got paid to be at the door? I don't know. It's hard to profile the guy at the door if we don't know why the guy at the door was there. Was he there for a kidnapping? Was he there because he's obsessed? Or was he paid to be there? Right, Keith? After Delphi, that's what I said here a few minutes ago. When everybody's like hoping maybe somebody will recognize him, recognize those eyes, recognize that gait, recognize his changed behaviors. 5 years of Delphi, and the man lived right there the whole time, and not one person pointed the finger at Rick Allen. That was one of the biggest obstacles my brain had to get over. Nobody did. I wanted to go to Delphi and walk around when the video got released. I remember the day that it came on TV, I stopped and I go, holy shit, they finally got an image from the Delphi case. And then I saw it. And my first thought was, how the hell did they get that video? Is there a trail cam in them woods that we didn't know about? Yeah. And then all that time we're waiting on somebody to ID that gun. It never happened. So I'm not banking on anybody recognizing the guy at the door to get their cool million. And if one person does recognize the guy at the door, you probably put him up to being the guy at the door. NBC's one big happy family. Nothing to see here. No nefarious individuals over here. We all love each other. We're family. We don't backstab. We don't exploit. We don't tell cameras to go outside and stand outside the big giant windows to see Savannah come back and give us all hugs. Because we're one big happy family. And nobody over here would hurt anybody. Ever. Who'd y'all fire lately? Who got the can over the past 10 years? I said it, 10 years. How long has Savannah been on the Today Show? I have not even researched that when that chick started her job there. I don't watch them morning shows. They're weird to me and they're goofy and they're a bunch of fake ass people living pretty little fake ass lives on TV every single morning with your coffee. And I'm like, we're talking about crimes and news and politics, but we're so happy. Like, stop it with this. I can't watch that kind of shit. If I wanted to, I would. How long's she been on that show? One FBI agent's already said you can damn well better believe they went back through all her emails and went through the roster at NBC to see who used to work there, who got fired, what kind of termination, how close were they into Savannah's world when they got fired. Those questions have to be asked. Just like we have to ask, is the DNA in CODIS? Who's got rap sheets? There's 50 people that one stream keeps putting out names over there. All of them people got rap sheets. It's like, I feel like people are missing a lot because we're chalking up really important stuff as being nothing. And I have to wonder, just like in Sebastian's case, was the person who had a hand in that sitting back happy watching all of it unfold that y'all know nothing? Keep telling us you know nothing. You're making it so easy for us. And you're making me feel better each and every day you got nothing. I don't know. It's a hard call to make. Everybody's like, this guy's got to go back to work eventually. People are going to notice. Did he shave? Did he do this? Did he do that? He's got on a freaking mask. Unless you really know that person, are you going to think twice? Dude's acting different. I don't know. We know nothing about the guy at the door, but something tells me the guy at the door is not the kind of 9-to-5 guy, married with kids and doing petty crimes on the weekend. Maybe. Yeah, none of it matters when you arrest the wrong person. FBI won't tell us nothing, but the FBI might need to start telling us a little something. Because there's some of the things they could clarify that the sheriff knows nothing about. Y'all, they're not giving that guy information. His word salad is all nonsense. And you really got to stop listening to anything he says. We can't take nothing he says to mean shit. I don't care what that man says anymore. None of it means nothing to me. That's why I need the FBI to come out and say something. And we know they're not going to. They never did it. They don't ever do that. Until a case is over. You know what I mean? Once it's over, then they might come out, and just like in the Idaho 4 case, when they had the big press conference after Koberger signed a plea deal or whatever the hell he did, and FBI's like, yeah, we used IgG. We used IgG. Enough of that. Next question. It's like that was the first time they owned it in that whole entire case. After everything in court was done, they finally stood there and owned it. But they still didn't want to talk about it because we went into that backdoor situation. Shh, 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 shh. Are they all up in the back door today? with a partial profile. 47 days to arrest Brian Kohberger. Today's the 47th day. But we had single source male DNA in that case. We got a weird mixture over here that we don't know what's ever going to happen with that. It might be Nanos' damn own mixture. He might have coughed or something inside the house that night when they shouldn't have let him in there. Yeah, he's not talking a whole lot more Butterfly. And then when he did talk, it just made people crazy. And they want to analyze every little word he said when you can't listen to a word the man says. He has no idea what's going on. He just won't say it. It is a little bothersome, though, that I don't know what the FBI could have that they're just like, oh, okay, I just checked my message there. Okay, Keith, cool. Why does it look like I have another? What? Oh, I don't know. I was looking at something on Twitter, guys, and it's like didn't make any sense. I was like, what are people doing? But we haven't had any new information coming down as far as any kind of leads. We all know that. They still don't, except for we got some thumbnails off the guest house cameras that we've all been wondering about for weeks now. And they said they got those actually a couple of weeks ago, but they're not putting it out there. So if they're not releasing the images because they claim they are not suspicious, they don't need to release them. If we got a pool guy cleaning the pool, okay, just come out in a press conference and say, we recovered, images from the guest house, and here's what we know. It's not that hard. Let me see what this is. Oh, okay. So there's been somebody down there live streaming relentlessly. He's not there right now. A firestorm's coming, buddy. So he just reported that somebody on Twitter reported that he says they're back in the neighborhood. And they're all like mad because he's not there to be boots on the ground. But you got them other flunkies that are out there doing the boots on the ground shit. I'd expect the FBI to be in there. Yeah. If they did, that's the thing, Happy, you're right. If they release an image, even of the pool guy, people already pointed the finger at the pool guy in the beginning, right? They certainly did. We were here for it. What about the pool guy? I'm like, what about employees? Need to go talk to all of them. But I wasn't like, it's the pool guy, right? I'm like, you just need to go talk to them. That's a given. But if you put that picture out there, yeah, people are going to start, because it's too easy. Wrapping our heads around a large thing happening sometimes is not doable. Not that we don't do that here, but as a whole, it's just easier sometimes to come up with all this ridiculous stuff. Like, none of that makes sense either, people. But if they put an image out of a thumbnail and it's just the pool guy cleaning the pool, then people are going to go doxing that guy all over the internet, trying to get anything they can find. Oops, I bleeped out for a moment and I'm back. But we've seen it. I've been seeing it for weeks. I know who's doing it. I know who's putting the information out about certain individuals, and they just will not let it go. I don't think they can wrap their head around anything bigger, to be honest. I'll just say that. I feel like I'm dealing with a couple of operator back up. And I gave him grace for a minute, but now it's time to stop it. When all you've done is, caused BS, and you can't talk about the case outside of, oh, it was Kayla, and it was Luke, and it was so and so, and it was Tom, Dick, and Harry. Everybody but a ransom for kidnapping and a stalker. Everybody but that, right? Everything but that. And I think some of these people might need to slow their roll, because some things might come back to bite you in the ass. That's all I'm saying about it. It's a little careless to go out there and put out names after name after name after name after name, and you cannot back any of that up. It's reckless. So on our next show, I want to kind of deep dive into the map around Nancy's home. I got a couple of things. Actually, hey, Keith, are you still here? All Eyes did a thing. All Eyes did a little thing. We got a GitHub. You seen it? Okay, because I want to bring that up on screen when we can talk about that together, because it's got a lot of information about the map here I really want to go over. So I would appreciate that. And I will get up with you in a little while. I saw what your schedule is like, so maybe if we don't do it tomorrow night, maybe Saturday. We'll see. I'll get up. I'm completely open, so whatever works best for you. Or say someone's eyebrows looks like another. Lord, we got Brian Koberger eyebrows over here in this case. I'm surprised people aren't saying that. They look like Brian Koberger eyes. All Eyes creating encyclopedia. She did a jam up job. I've looked at it. I mean, I clicked on the different layers she's got, because she's got the street cams are up, the DOT cameras, all those locations, the washes, all of that. You know how our girl rolls. So I'm looking forward to looking into that a little. All real happy. All Eyes is a baddie. Yeah, she did. She did a little GitHub thing for us. So shout out to All Eyes on Delphi. That's who we're talking about. She's a sweetheart. She's a great researcher, and she's a fabulous documentarian. Let me say that. I did speak to her briefly the other day, but I haven't talked to her in a hot minute. Oh, which reminds me, I heard back from somebody that I'm trying to get on as a guest, and he's agreed. Um, I'm setting that up with him now. I sent him back an email this morning. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with True Crime Web with Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve used to come on the show when I first started the channel. He came on, I think, twice as a guest and talked about cases with us. I think I used to follow his Delphi content a little bit, and I've followed other things. Like, he did a really good experiment in the Idaho 4 case with what could Dylan see inside the house. That shit was amazing that this guy was doing. He buried bullets in the backyard to do an experiment for the Delphi case, right? I'm going to put these bullets out there, bury them, then unbury them in certain stages and see what we can find out. So it was a whole thing. I love the way he does that. But his real important work is running the Cold Case Foundation that he's a part of. And I hadn't seen him a while on the internet. So I emailed him a couple days ago. And then lo and behold, last night he shows up over there on Drunk Turkey. And then I got my email back. He's like, he'd just been really busy. Because we all noticed Mr. Steve hadn't been around in a while. We had seen no new content or anything like that. But he was moving from Georgia to Florida. But he said the move took a lot longer than they expected, and he's been really busy with the Cold Case Foundation with other cases. But he's going to come on and talk to us and give us insight about the Cold Case Foundation, that all the work they do there, and different avenues they take to try to find missing and go back and work on some of these cold cases, right? And if we're building toward a cold case here, so I'm looking forward to getting Mr. Steve back on. It's been a hot minute since we've had him. There you go. Butterfly dropped All Eyes link to her X account there, and that's where you guys can go and follow her for content as well. I think she posted the GitHub over at YouTube. I can't remember if it was YouTube or Twitter, but I do have it saved, and we can get back to it pretty quickly. Yeah, Rachel, Steve is great. And he used to come over, and when I would co-host somebody else's panel, I got him over there a couple of times as well. Had a few conversations, but he's a really sweet guy. But I really want to talk to him more about the Cold Case Foundation and the work they do there, because all that's important. There's too many missing people out there and unsolved murders. Um, that they have to go back, and we've seen how it works. They go back, fresh eyes come on the case, and things that were missed back then, and now somebody talks who wouldn't talk years ago. All those things that happen. So it'd be an interesting conversation to have with him, I think, and I hope you guys are down for something like that. Yeah. I don't know if it's just so hard to even try to figure out this case anymore, because we just don't have any more information than we do. And I'm going to assume that whatever they see on the guest house cameras is nothing more than people that should be there. Especially if they're going to go all the way to say nothing suspicious was seen. Who put out that statement? Was that a statement from the FBI, or was that a Nano's statement? Nothing suspicious here. Can you describe suspicious? Was it nighttime? Was it the middle of the night? Did this poor woman have no idea she had creepy crawlers all over her property, although she had cameras everywhere? She had no idea she was being stalked and watched by a bunch of randos in the yard. Or a weird guy at the front door January 11th. Did she notice the image of the guy at the door January 11th? And did she tell Annie about it? If they didn't call the cops and report it, did she at least tell Annie? Look at this. Look what I saw. If my mama showed me that, I'd be like, Mama, we're doing something. We're getting you a dog. We're getting some extra security over here. We're doing something. But Mama had that big door, security door. Did she think she was fine? Everybody thinks they're fine inside their house, especially when you lock up. There's chatter. Did Miss Nancy leave the slider open and unlocked because in the past that's where her dog would go out? Like, what? The dog ain't there no more. Did she not lock on the door now? We don't know if she did or didn't lock the slider. Yeah, this one was this image here, Firefly, was taken several years ago. This came from a NBC Today show, the segment that aired, and Megyn Kelly found this the other day. So this picture is a couple years old. What year? I forget when they did that piece, because it was taken from inside Nancy's bedroom. She was showing them how to make the bed. They were doing a segment on how to make the beds. Now, there are more recent images, Firefly, where you can see her age was, starting to show a little bit, but she was 84 years old. It's going to be there. She still looked good for her age, though, right? And people got her chalked up to being some kind of invalid, and I think that's rude. I think Miss Nancy might have something to say about that. Was it 2013, Hawkeyes, when that was done? So it's been a hot minute. And so a couple people were saying, oh, well, because this did air on the Today Show, anybody watching it would have known what was on Nancy's nightstand. Excuse me, like she said, it was 2013. It's 2026 right now. Miss Nancy might have made a change or two. She may have a different lamp now. She may have a different clock. Is that an old clock radio sitting there? That thing may be gone by now. Those books, I'm sure, have been read and put away. These plants over here by the window, that might be a little different now. So if a person watched this and they're like, oh, I can guess her watch was on that nightstand. Let me write that up in a little letter and send it. What? Oh, yeah. Look, for me, seeing the bruises on Nancy's arms, I'm used to that. That is my dad. That is me. I am getting there. I'm telling y'all right now, 58 years old. I ain't saying my age. I think I'm 58. I can bump myself and literally I'm like, what in the hell? It looks like I've been beat up. And I'm like, I'm getting to be that old person that everything's going to do that to me. Everything. One of my aunts was embarrassed because of the way her bruises would look. And she'd always want to cover them up. It broke my heart for her because she was passing away of cancer, but she just could not stand the way her arms looked, and it bothered her. But it's so normal for elderly people, especially those on the blood thinners. You bump, you're gonna bleed. It wouldn't have taken much to get Miss Nancy to bleed a lot. It just wouldn't have. Oh, I bet it is a time capsule. I bet it is, Rachel. It probably is. She probably didn't change a whole lot over the years. You might refresh something here and there. You might get new bedding or whatever over the years. So that's normal, but you're not going to change a whole lot of stuff. What if that lamp stopped working and she needed a new one, right? We don't even know how old it was in this picture. But it gave us kind of a lay of the land a little bit about Nancy's bedroom. And on the back side of this bed is where the slider would be that went out to the patio. So considering that Miss Nancy was on the blood thinners and bruised so easily, anything could have caused her to start bleeding, Not that they even had to rough her up a lot. It could have been a very minor situation that got her roughed up, because we know something damn sure happened. And I'm in my mind, I don't care how old I am. When you got me all the way to my front door, you're not taking me out alive. Maybe I got a chance to get away from you once I get out there. My 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 better thoughts might prevail. I might give up. I might put up a fight to begin with. Then I'm gonna, okay, fine. I'll try to figure out how to escape later. But right now, you got me. We don't know what happened at that front door. Would they purposely cause injury to her? That's the question. Was that a purposeful injury? You could have gagged her where she couldn't scream going out the front door, because she may try to scream to get someone's attention. That's natural instinct, right? So if you gagged her where she couldn't scream, if she had her hands zip tied, why are we injuring her? Is she putting up a fight at that door? And that caused an injury. Or even her snatching her arm away could have broke skin and caused an injury. But if that would not explain the aspirated blood on the floor. If it, like, say her arm got an injury and that blood was just from her arm, we wouldn't see the aspiration marks on the blood. So it makes you wonder, did she get like a pistol whip, a pop in the mouth, a pop in the nose? What are y'all doing to this poor woman? How did that injury even occur? That's one thing we don't know. And how bad was it, We know it's not going to take much. There's a chance it wasn't quite as bad as it could have been. Oh no, Forrest, 70 years old, February 25th. Hey, and y'all know over there with the UFO guy that got kidnapped? One of his colleagues got kidnapped a few months ago. She went hiking, never been found again. She was with another person on a hiking trail, and they were about 30 to 50 feet ahead of her, and she's back there waving at them, and they turn and look back in front of them. Then they turn back to wave at her again, and she's gone, just poofed into thin air. And she worked under McCaslin, the new guy that just went missing. What are we doing there? We got two people who worked on one project together, both now missing, poofed into thin air. There's too many people going missing with no leads. Y'all be super vigilant about yourselves. Don't let yourself get kidnapped or abducted on a hiking trail. Safety in numbers. How that lady was with somebody. Could you imagine you're hiking and your friend is behind you and you turn around and they're just gone? I'm about to be prime suspect. My friend just disappeared into the nowhere. Ma'am, we need to talk to you. I got to look into that case a little bit more. Who was she with when she was hiking, right? What's going on there? It's just too many. And it's even strange because that UFO guy, they think he walked out of his house, but nobody on the street's cameras see him. Why are we having all these cameras when none of them are doing any good? Nobody's cameras are even turned on. They're just there for show. I knew somebody like that one time. Their stepdad had wired the whole house with cameras, right? Inside, outside. But none of them worked. Finally, after years, none of them worked anymore. They were just there. And I'm like, you going to take all this shit down one day? Because the dude's gone. He ain't. She's like, no, maybe it'll deter somebody. So the cameras didn't even work. They were just there. How many places does that happen, right? Not everybody's convinced they need them. Hell, having them don't seem to matter at this point. He wasn't trying to get in through that front door. You're not getting in that front door. It's not happening. And dude knew that. They came out of the front door, which leads me to question, is that door locked once they get there the next morning? Did you take the time to lock the damn door? You're not getting in that door. FBI agents have said we have special tools we have to use to breach that door with. That's the kind of door you look at and your hips automatically hurt, one of them said. Not just that door, the big solid wood door on the inside. There's no way you're going through that front door to get into Miss Nancy's unless you got a key. Oh, it's obvious they brought her out through the front. I think that's pretty obvious right there. There's blood at the front door. They're not going to take Miss Nancy out of the back of the house and then bring her to the front porch where her camera is, cause an injury, and have her bleed out on the front porch. They came out the front door. And if anybody wants to argue that fact, go back to True Crime 101. Like, I'm at that point right now. Y'all new to true crime? This case caught your interest, and here you are. Not y'all, but y'all know what I'm saying. I saw that with Idaho 4. People who have no clue, just showing up with random stuff, and not understanding. Look, they're all hot and heavy in the front of that yard right over there. The perpetrator went around the side where the sliding door and the patio were, that whole side of the yard, because there's no cameras over there the way they are on this side of the house with the cameras on the guest house. But I think it's pretty damn obvious they came right out that front door. Yeah, how can anybody say that people who are questioning, did Nancy ever get home that night? There's blood on the front porch. Nancy died in the house. There's blood on the front porch. There's obvious aspiration spots. Come on. It's a no-brainer. Exactly, Keith. Good point. If they're brazen enough to walk up to the front door and be seen on camera, trying to take the camera down, why go through all of that other trouble getting her out of the back? You're not doing that, right? You're going, and it makes sense to bring her right out the front door, because if you look how close that truck is to Nancy's sidewalk. It's right there. Easiest way and quickest way to get her out of that house. And we know there was no vehicle parked there when the guy is at the door. But did he walkie-talkie his friend and say, bring the car on up? Bring it on in the yard now. Bring it all the way up. Get out of the edge of the driveway where you can't be seen. Bring it on around now. And here we go out the front door and scoop her right into that car. That car is right there waiting. Quickest, easiest, simplest way to do it. And it's in the dead of night and there's nobody out there. You did what, Happy? Or Hawkeyes, I'm sorry. I send footage. Wait a minute, won't let me to a second person on your account. Y'all have wired cameras and your son has remote access. We've all wondered, did the family have remote access to the cameras? Would they be seeing? Maybe they did, maybe they don't. I don't know. It's kind of easy to sit back and judge this family, but then I got to ask everybody, take stock of your own shit. Call your mama. Mama, do we need to get some cameras? We need to put me on the account where I can see what's going on. Take the opportunity. Out of each case, we can learn something going forward. If we don't learn from things in life, what good is living life? I like to learn things and learn new knowledge, and if I can keep myself safe, I'm going to do it. I don't know that they could have removed that camera from the inside of the house, Butterfly. I don't know how these things work. There's a bracket, there's no wires, it's a battery operated camera. So I don't know how they're going to deactivate that camera from inside that house. If it's hooked up to an app to the phone and it's just we saw the guy on Megyn Kelly's little experiment put the camera up and be able to pop it off. It's just a battery powered camera. I don't know that there was a way to disarm that camera from inside that house, but he wanted to pull it off before they brought Nancy out that front door. Or do they bring Nancy out and then he comes back? I don't think he came back because the way he casually walked up to begin with, I think that was first priority, was getting that camera. Or maybe because he's not walking from around. I got to get the videos up to show you. He's not coming from the right side of the house when he first comes up to that door. Talk to speak. Oh, I don't talk to speak. That shit don't get, I guess, on my nerves. That they don't ever get it right. My sister's like that. She be running around talking to her phone all the time, messaging people. I'm like, what are you doing? Frey's going to record everything I'm saying. Text, it never gets it right. Hell, I can't, my shit won't even type right half the time. Yeah, it's easy to sit back and judge the family, and people are stubborn. My dad is stubborn. Come on. I don't know what kind of, I had to ask all of y'all, do your mama have a camera? Can you see everything going on in your mama's house today? For everybody throwing shade at Savannah and her family for not doing enough. How's your mama's house today? Everything good? Are we sure? Positive? Nobody wants your mama because you ain't got no money. So she's good to go? It's so easy to sit back in judgment, isn't it? Oh, you think he could have opened the door and just reached around and tried to pop it off without walking straight up to it? I got you. Like, open the front door, reach his hand out, and pop it off. It wouldn't have worked. He couldn't even get it off to start with. You know what I'm saying? I think he thought that when he took the camera, that was going to solve the problem. He wasn't thinking about it being backed up on a cloud, obviously. But why not worry about the cameras on the guest house? That's what bothers me. Why take that camera but not fudge with the ones on the guest house? You took the time to possibly damage a floodlight. Why not mess with those cameras? Throw a rock at it, knock it out. It's crazy. Yeah, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, is the saying, right? And boy, with my pawpaw, when he started getting older in life, and just they're like, I don't need all that. I don't need all that. But there's ways to talk them into it if you let them know it's because you worry. I worry about you, and I don't want to do that, right? There's a way. You got to sweet talk some of them elderly people. You just got to have your way with them. You can't go over demanding stuff because then they're like, they take it wrong. Graveyard cameras are working. I just can't access them. What? Oh, you can, Butterfly? Is yours easy to remove? Like, just, they said there's a little key thing you can pop in there, which kind of tells us, why go through all that trouble to remove that one particular camera if you had a jammer? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. And when he was approaching the camera, he was going to try to pull that bitch off. And there's just, I mean, who in their right mind, I don't care how dumb this criminal is, who in their right mind thinks that's going to cover the lens? I still think he was trying to use the vine to wedge between the camera and the bracket to pop it off because he couldn't get his fat fingers in there to pop it off good enough. It took years to get Life Alert. Look, my grandpa got it on his own, right? Before he got dementia or anything, he took the initiative and got that. And he was, this is my Life Alert thing. I wear this watch for a reason. All I got to do is push this button. But when my grandfather started having dementia and it went into Alzheimer's, he had no idea what it was for. He would ask me constantly, and I knew he was never going to use it because he didn't know what it was. But he did for a long time. But I think if you can, talk to them, I just don't think people should judge them if their own mama ain't secure. That's all I'm saying. Your mama could have an intruder come tonight. You don't ever know. Right. Why not get the subscription? I have no clue. I think people become complacent, though. Nothing's happening around here. We're in a safe area where people tend to live in that bubble. Nothing bad's going to happen to me. That's for everybody else in the world. It will never happen to me. There will never be an intruder at my door. There will never be anything happening in my house. But guess what? Could be. And why do you people get cameras without subscriptions? A lot of people have been commenting that a lot of people have them and some of them don't. You would think that they would have a subscription, though. I'll tell you what, if I notice there's a weird guy at my door come January 11th, guess who's calling right now and getting subscription? Right? And we don't know that image was taken January 11th. We don't know that. Nobody can verify that. We were told there's no timestamps. So how the hell are they coming up with January 11th? This was taken January 11th. How do you know that? When the FBI said no timestamps. Oh, y'all got one. Y'all just ain't showing it. Why not? First thing we look for in true crime when you release a video is the timestamp in the corner. It's the very first thing we look for. And we don't have that here. We do not have that here. There's no timestamps, they tell us. So I'd love to know where everybody's getting that image was taken January 11th. But if I saw that January 11th, January 12th, my ass is getting a subscription and a big old dog. One of my big old ass pit bulls coming at you, female at that. She'll protect you. That male just might he's kind of dumb. And take it from somebody who's bred pit bulls most of her life. I only want the females. You can give them dudes away. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than for protection than a female pit bull standing next to your ass. Ain't nobody gonna get you or your babies. Not on that watch. And if you raise your animals right, your babies are perfectly fine, trust me. I never had one incident with any of my pets and my babies. Not one. But I know they would have killed anybody over one of my babies. And that's her job, man. I think they do have timestamps. They're just not telling us. It makes no sense not to tell us. Obviously, this was the night of the crime. Obviously. But what was this? We don't have any timestamps. But yet we're here in January 11th. So is there really timestamps? One of the leakers have leaked that information? I can't see no eyes in that mask. That looks like a different mask almost. But then when you go here to this image, you can see his eyes. But you go back to here, it's like it's the same mask, but you can't see the guy's eyes there. That whole image right there is weird to me. Everything about it is weird. I don't even know if it's real. I'm just going to say that. My first thought when I saw that image was that the beginning of their AI work, and it accidentally got left in with all this? I don't got no eyeballs on this dude. What's going on here? Backpacks missing, guns missing. What are we doing? How do we get there? Yeah, happy. Me too. I'm gonna need some confirmation from the FBI that was January 11th. Until then, could have been the same night. But why is he there without his gear? I don't know. He could have put it in the car already. But I don't. If you look at the background of that picture, some people are like, "Oh, that looks like a car sitting back there." But you would think if they pulled the car all the way to the front and put Nancy in it, and then he goes back, what is he going back for when he already removed the camera? Because when he removes the camera, allegedly, he's doing all this. So he didn't, or, maybe the vines didn't work after all, and he threw him down on the ground. And then after he got all of his gear off and got Nancy in the car and handed his gun to his partner, then he goes back to retrieve the camera. And that's when it actually comes off. That would put it all the same night versus separate nights. Everybody didn't lock their door. Well, we've heard the random neighbors say, well, no one's in what people perceive small town America or in their own little neighborhood. We never lock the doors. It's 2026. Y'all better start. We don't know that Nancy's an 84-year-old woman. I don't think she's the kind that wasn't going to lock the doors because some of the neighbors aren't. Well, the neighbors aren't locking up, so I don't got to do that either. So for anybody out there still leaving your damn doors and your windows unlocked and you live in a little naive world, get your head out your ass. Lock your doors. It's to the point where if somebody comes in your home and takes you, you should have locked your door. And even if you do, sometimes that don't matter, but you can hear them coming in 9 times out of 10. You can hear somebody, you can hear a commotion. Unless you're a lady, you need powerful hearing aids to hear anything. You're not hearing nothing. Yeah, the conversation about the not locking the doors, we've heard that floated around for 47 days. How many days are we in now? 47? We don't lock our doors. We don't lock our doors. Well, y'all better get jiggy with the program and lock them damn doors. This should be a lesson to all of them. Quit it. Quit it. Don't invite chaos into your life unless you're a chaos seeker. And there are chaos seekers out there. Like everything's got to be drama. I'm so the opposite. I'm like, no, I don't want chaos. I don't want drama. I want peace. I'm going to guess that door of Nancy's was locked all the time. That's cumbersome. Nancy was probably going in and out of that garage every time she left her house to get into her own car, friend's car, or the Uber car. I think that was Nancy's natural way of entering her home. That's why when she got dropped off Saturday night, they went through the garage. I don't think this door right here ever got open that much. But I'd love to know if it was locked when the authorities got there. Did the assailant take the time to lock the damn door back? All you got to do is shut it. You don't got to leave it open because that's going to arouse suspicion. But you're going to want to shut it. But it probably wasn't locked unless they had Miss Nancy's key and were like, let's lock up Miss Nancy so nobody comes in and steals your shit. You got a bunch of randos down the highway running around at night. We got you. What? You have to be locked up like Fort Knox anywhere you live these days. Hell, the UFO guy disappeared out of a really nice neighborhood. His colleague who disappeared off a really nice area with hiking trails. You can be absolutely somewhere safe in the safest of neighborhoods, and guess what? Well, we know what. Because Miss Nancy lived in an apparently safe neighborhood, but that didn't stop the guy at the door from calling, did it? I think everybody should be responsible for themselves and their families and protect their homes. And if they're not being taught that as children, so when they are adults, they know to do it. I grew up in the 70s. We slept with windows open. Not everybody had ACs back then. And if you did, you didn't run it all the damn time. But my dad didn't play. And after a certain point, certain things began to happen out in the world. And my dad's like, no, them windows are getting shut. Y'all shut that window and you lock it. In fact, my dad would come to our rooms at night. Y'all ain't got that window open, do you? No, sir. It's shut. It's locked. To this day, my dad raised a bunch of daughters. We have our doors locked. My daddy taught me that. Sister, you lock that door, it don't matter. It just don't matter. But if we sit there and say, well, she had all of her doors unlocked, then are we victim blaming? I want to know more about the colleague too, Happy. I just heard about it yesterday. Um, I got to go back through my history and see where I saw that. It was one of the major news publications that talked about that story. But she worked with some special metal for, yeah, under the guy who went missing. They were on the same project, and now they're both missing. Do one of our adversaries come collect them to force them to tell their secrets or to force them to build them some technology? I don't know. I have lived in Florida my entire life. I'm a true native. That's why I throw shade at all the transplants. And that's why I can tell you that we are two parts to Florida. The panhandle and whatever that is down there in central and south. We are two separate beings. But born and raised, I'm a native. I was born and raised on the Gulf of Mexico and in the woods deep on the riverbanks. There's a lot of layers to this old girl. I can be your mermaid one day or your river rat the next. What do y'all want? I can play in the Gulf and I can go back to the river and play with the gators. I want to go fishing. It's time to get on the boat and go fishing with my daddy. The weather's getting there. We haven't had a lot of rain, so the river is like so low right now. You ain't gonna catch nothing. I'm ready to go fishing. Oh, Happy, that the kid that was missing in Spain? Oh no, they found him deceased in the water? I don't want none of my kids to go overseas for any kind of little trips, college trips, spring break trips. No, 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 no. You stay your ass right here in the US, 'cause shit happens, man. You get over there in them foreign countries and it happens, it makes it even harder. So hard. Idaho's the same. The panhandle is very different from Boise. I've gotten that take on that, Rachel. Tracy, you're going fishing this weekend? Nice. Enjoy. I love to go sit on the boat and fish. I fish on the rivers. I don't saltwater fish. I don't like going out in the Gulf in the boats. I've been there, done that. I do not. No, no, no. I'm good. I'll stay on the shore, but I'll jump in the boat in the river in a heartbeat. What'd you share in Discord? Let me go see. What is this? Okay. Let me pull this up. What butterfly just found us? What is this? Oh, hang on. I gotta go into the Discord on the computer to grab that link just so I can, because I'm looking at my phone. Let's see. Why am I seeing two different things here? Hold on. Hang on, because now I'm not seeing it on the. Well, it's right there. How come it's not showing in the? Oh, wait. All right, wait a minute. Go back up to this one. Oh, wait a minute. Is this new? Hang on, guys. Let me look at something real quick. Hmm. Um, it's not easy to find that guy. I mean, it is easy to find him. What am I saying? It was so easy to find him. Okay, hang on. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying not to be shady, but I'm not. Okay, let me check a couple of things here. This is the one I was trying to get to. Let me get back in Discord and grab it. I got to get some more information before I speak publicly on what I'm seeing. I'm just. Okay, what is this? Oh, wait, it never lets me do that when I'm in Discord. Okay, I'm going to have to read it to you guys. So we have an article here. Let me see. Oh, wait, that's old. That's old. Wait a minute. All right, Butterfly, were you sharing with me in Discord about that kid? Is that what you're talking about? Or was it the other guy's thing? Because I see both. Okay. All right. I got to get more information about that and actually understand what I'm going to be reading before I speak on it publicly. But yeah, well, I'll just go ahead and tell y'all there's some. There was a YouTube streamer streaming live from Nancy's home, and he might be in a little bit of trouble with the law. Again, Mr. Boots on the ground documenting, everything for everybody. Yeah, I don't know much about that student's case. All I know is this kid went missing over in Spain, and I don't like it. I don't usually look at cases where they're overseas because what am I going to be able to do, right? There's nothing I can report. There's nothing I can dig up. No, there's not a lot. I don't like it when young people go abroad and go missing because you're in a whole ass other country that we can't do nothing about. So I followed a little bit about it, but it's not a case I wanted to jump into, just like purposely jumping into murdered children's cases. Um, yeah, I don't know much about it except he was missing and they were trying to get the word out on social media to put his photos and stuff out, but they found him. Now it could be a nefarious activity or too much intoxication going on. You never know when these I live on the Gulf, so obviously I've had a lot of experience with wild ass spring breakers. Panama City Beach is just full. I mean, y'all have no idea how many of y'all's kids come here for vacation doing things you know nothing about, putting themselves in horrendous danger, drinking till they fall completely out. I've seen so many videos my entire life of what goes on when a bunch of kids go on vacation together. They get fucking wild. We have had kids jump off the balconies of condos thinking they could fly like Superman, to crash and burn at the bottom. I've we got so fed up with it. Pensacola Beach don't want no part of it. It's bad enough out there during the tourist year anyway. Last thing we need is a bunch of damn young adult spring breakers coming down here acting a fool behind mama and daddy's backs. And it happens every single year. Y'all should worry about your babies when they tell you they're going off on spring break. You better hope you taught them everything you could possibly teach them and they don't give in to peer pressure. It's not a pretty sight. You river fish too, Tricia? Hell yeah. I'm waiting for my daddy to pull out some record fish. He's gonna pull out a record catfish this year, I know it. But it's that time of year. I got to get out and do some things, get some summer fun going. But take a walk on the beach. Grounding. Ground yourselves and sit outside and touch the grass. Yeah, y'all talk to your kids when they're heading off for spring break, because too many things can happen, especially when that alcohol gets involved and the senses aren't what they're supposed to be. You know, taking up with strangers you might not have should have took up with and things like that is dangerous, especially when they're going in another country to do it. Like, I would never want my kid to do that. I'm like, yeah, you can go see the world when you get fully grown, but until then, just to go party, that's a little risque behavior. Oh, let me check. Okay. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here in a second, and I'm going to make plans for this weekend show. I'll get up with Keith and figure out when we're going to do it, if it's going to be tomorrow night or maybe Saturday, and get a game plan on just what we're going to talk about and touch on, and just review and look at. I'm just I'm waiting for the police to come up with one of these two avenues: a kidnapping gone wrong that went terribly wrong, or if somebody took Miss Nancy for other reasons. And I just cannot discount that very first letter to the media, because that did not go to TMZ. And if you review that one letter, and then you go review those first videos Savannah was doing, the first two were obviously scripted, and then it moves into talking more directly to an individual. It's almost like the FBI was like, okay, maybe we have a ransom kidnapping here, and then it felt like they may have shifted to, it could also be this, so let's do this as well. I feel like they were working both theories. FBI knows this wasn't a robbery gone wrong. FBI knows it wasn't an essay attempt gone completely wrong, and they stole the body to hide evidence. You just took a big portion of evidence with you, so when it's found, guess what? It's ridiculous to think that. Could have happened, yeah. But I think the FBI's two working theories would have been ransom for kidnap for ransom, or a stalker. Those are the only two things that make sense. Because there's no other reason to walk into that house and take that old lady, unless you were obsessed with her or her daughter, or you wanted a whole bunch of money. Hawkeyes, don't forget. Like, when my babies were little, I was that woman. I could not look. I had to force myself into just chilling over the years, but no way. I'm not laying my head down on that pillow at night and then have to say, I'm getting up and I'm going back to all the doors, right? When we were little, my sister would sleepwalk. My dad had to put locks at the very top of the door where she couldn't reach them, because she was going out that door each and every time she woke up. It was a whole thing. We had to like trap her in the house. But yeah, my dad drilled that into me when I was growing up. So it's just by nature, I lock doors. I can't help myself. In the middle of the day, why is the door locked? Well, I don't want nobody just to walk in on me. I might be in the kitchen doing something. I might be in the bathroom. I don't need a rando walking up in my house. Damn doors are locked. I don't trust this world. And if y'all watch any true crime, y'all shouldn't trust the world either. And don't be that person that says it can never be me. You know what I mean? We can't live in that world anymore, where we can say absolutely no, never happened to me. I don't need to lock my doors. I'm in a safe environment until you're not, right? Until you're not. So we can't count on there's going to be enough evidence left behind to find your perpetrator. So we got to do what we can to keep ourselves safe because they may not be able to find the guy once they do something to us. And it may take an extra long time. Nanos has got people believing it could take a year or more. At this rate, it might. Think about that. Will we be here 1 year from now wondering what happened to Miss Nancy? Or will we have any answers at all? Hey, Rebecca, welcome in. Welcome in. Glad you could join us. You're glad your kids never wanted to go abroad? Yeah, mine never wanted to leave home, Their friends like to move away. My kids, I was like, thank God my babies didn't leave. I didn't want to be that parent that has to travel across the country to see their kids or only fly out to see them at the holidays and all that. I get it. It's a great big world. Go fly and soar and do all your things, but just don't make it so hard that I can't ever see you or the babies. Stay close. And fortunately, mine did. They didn't want to leave. They are both here with me, and all three of my kids are here. I worry about that youngest one. I don't know about him. He's 19. He my little wayward traveler. I feel like he's going to try to go eventually, but I won't hold him back, but I hope he don't. I hope he don't. He's the one I worry about. The other two, they're solid, they're good, they're not going nowhere. Got the grandbabies, but him's a little different. He's a good kid with a good head on his shoulders, but he doesn't mind leaving. I know that. Just don't go too far away, baby. I don't like to fly. If I can't get there by car, we got a problem. We try to meet up every day. I don't have a schedule. People have asked me, do I have a schedule? And I'm real honest with everybody. I don't. I don't do clocks and calendars. The minute I put myself to a schedule, I'm going to break it. And I will go ahead and tell you that's part of my PTSD. It's a weird thing that I developed years ago when I got PTSD. And for some reason, I can't do clocks and calendars. It's weird. Can't explain it. I don't like them. They just tell me I got to be somewhere at a certain time, and I just, no. But I usually go every day. And we're usually off on weekends. Sometimes we do nighttime show, and occasionally we do a weekend show. It all depends. But I took the last 2 days off because we have been streaming this case since it started, and we're usually here all the time though. And I try to get my notifications out in enough time for y'all to get them and know we're going to go live. So I appreciate all those who do come in and listen to us and look for the notifications and do. If y'all aren't getting them, there's no real clear way to fix it, except sometimes they say unsub and resub, and sometimes that helps. I don't really know if it works or not, but we try. We were 90% of the time a daytime show, but yeah, it just depends. If a lot of things are happening during the day, I might hold off and go at night. You know what I mean? So we can keep up with what's been popping off. But when things slow down, I may have to take a day and then just gather things up. But we will be back here over the weekend, either tomorrow night or Saturday night, because I'm going to have Keith on with us, and we're going to get into some more heavy stuff with the evidence type stuff, not this fluff, he said, she said, sheriff crazy word salad stuff. What do we have and what do we outside of all that, right? I'm just tired of all that. So I want to have a good conversation about other things. So we'll get that out. I got to get up with Keith and figure out what day we're going to do it. I think he has another panel he's going to be on tomorrow night, so I don't want to overload him. So we might wait and do it Saturday. But I will give you guys plenty of heads up when we do that. I'll get it scheduled in plenty of time so you guys can know about it. Because when we had Keith up last, I think we all enjoyed having him come up. So we'll look forward to that again. Well, Rebecca, thank you for finding us. I'm glad you found us. Y'all do hit the thumbs up and all the things. Get us out there so more people can find us and come and join our conversations, because that's what we're about here. Y'all come and join the conversation. Coffee and crime conversation. We coined the coffee and crime thing first, by the way, Miss Jacoff. And we cuss here too. We'll be cussing and discussing just like Jacoff and her little friend. You're happy that trial is over. That was a right? What are there's some other trials popping off out there. I don't want to cover trials because it takes a lot of time, and then I don't have time to do other things, and I don't want to be just a channel that covers trials. Now, with that said, if we're following a case like Idaho 4, followed it for so long, I would have absolutely covered that trial, right? I would have covered it. I had planned to, but we didn't get there. I covered Karen Reed's because I hadn't done it yet, like covered a trial, and I almost regretted that whole thing. It was a lot. It was a lot of long days. I had to get trial groceries and everything so I could eat while I was live because I was there for so long. It was just a lot. That don't mean we won't stream a trial here in the future. We might do recaps of them. I don't know. It all depends. Who needs to go away? Oh, Rick Richens, whatever her name was. Yeah, I didn't watch that trial. It was a no-brainer to me. Old girl was going to be found guilty. You don't kill your husband, put your babies through all that, and then go write children's books about how to take care of them. That just floored me. That blew me away. Remember our trial groceries there for us? Yes. Got to get our trial groceries. All right, guys. Well, my daughter's going to be popping by in about 15 minutes, so I'm going to go for the day. And like I said, watch out for the notifications. I'll get that show scheduled up probably here later on tonight, so you guys have plenty of time to get the notifications on. All right, y'all go have a great evening. And in case if something major happens, I'll come back tonight. If not, we'll come back in the morning. And we'll do a morning show, and then we'll come do our weekend stuff. All right, you guys know what I say. Be safe on them YouTube streets. Take it all with a big ass grain of salt. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.